betrayed and tossed out as monster bait. His own boss set him up to take the fall. Just a regular corporate wage slave, weak, mocked, and completely ignored, until the world turns into a brutal game, a place where the OP guys stomp on the innocent, right as the edge of losing everything. And that's where it gets crazy. The system kicks in, awakening the most OP hidden class in history, the legendary Jester. With illusion spells and some built different luck, he's gonna clown on the most unbeatable enemies, turning this apocalypse into his own personal playground. Nobody is stopping his show. Stick around till the end, drop a like, and subscribe. Starts off on a day just like any other. Out of nowhere, creatures show up, leaving behind pure destruction wherever they go. Our MC is right there watching these beasts, wondering if people would actually laugh at him. With a smirk, our boy mentions a battle of wits and skill sounds pretty interesting. Adjusting his hat, he excitedly points out the whole thing feels like a fun game. He explains that a year ago, multiple dungeons randomly spawned all over the planet. Then monsters started pouring out. Regular weapons did nothing, spreading panic and chaos until someone noticed something. Turns out the towers and beasts looked exactly like the ones from Vanaheim Online. Realizing the game became reality. Soon after, a few humans got their awakening, becoming the only ones who could fight back, earning the title of players. Getting different classes, they use their skills to counterattack, making the fight for survival the new daily routine. A party of adventurers is currently clashing with the tower monsters. Inside, this creepy horned boss named Balzafar steps up, staring the squad down. Yelling at everyone to hold their ground, the party leader orders a full-scale attack to take this menace out. The mage readies a spell, hyped they made it this far, knowing their guild rank is about to spike. Fired up, the swordsman charges in with a massive war cry while fire magic blasts from behind. But Balzafar doesn't even flinch, just raising both hands to charge up some heavy energy. Both attacks collide, creating a massive shockwave. Confused, the fire user mumbles something and freaks out when the monster's spell heads right for her. Right after that, the mage next to her gets blasted away, groaning in pain. At that moment, both support members end up collapse on the ground, out cold. He questions the monster's cracked power, realizing the early floors were a breeze. Staring at his targets, the beast says it'd be a waste to just wipe them out and promises to make the fight way more fun. Quickly, the giant boss raises a hand, instantly casting a spell and firing it off. And that's where it gets crazy. The whole background turns into an abyss of boiling lava, leaving the guild leader completely stunned. On the cliff's edge, the warrior looks around frantic, screaming to figure out where the heck they ended up. The boss lets out this creepy laugh, mocking humans for being fools who only believe what's right in front of them. Sweating bullets, the swordsman realizes things are bad and figures the whole squad is gonna get wiped if this keeps up. Suddenly, our MC spawns out of nowhere in that inferno, whistling a little tune with a chill smile on his face. Our boy praises the horn guy, telling him he did a solid job crafting that whole illusion. Striking a confident pose, our MC boldly asks if the beast can cast that trick from anywhere. Intrigued, the boss mentions it's pretty fun watching a mere bug see right through his magic. Without wasting time, the villain raises his hand again and dispels the spell. The lava barrier fades, showing the castle's interior, and the leader sighs in relief, realizing it was all fake. But even knowing the monster's trick, the warrior turns his head, still super tense about the whole thing. Looking closely at our boy, the big guy is confused, wondering who this kid is and when he crashed the fight. He ignores the guy, walking up to a shelf packed with glowing loot and hyping up how cool the items look. Touching some armor, our MC guesses high-level demons hoard fun toys, wondering if a human could even equip it. Suddenly, he hears a weird noise behind him and turns around with a curious hum to see what's up. On top of a stone pedestal sits a creepy black core leaking a heavy purple aura. The swordsman snaps at our MC for slacking, warning they're facing a monster that gives even level 200 players a hard time. Our guy just tells the big dude to chill, saying the more desperate things get, the more you gotta remember to have fun. Balzafar talks back, saying it doesn't matter if the illusion dropped, because humans can't resist his magic, demanding they entertain him more. In a flash, the demon throws his hands up and a massive volcano pops up behind him. The ground cracks from the impact, splashing lava everywhere, while the swordsman falls back, shielding his face from the intense heat. Super chill in the middle of the flames, our boy analyzes the spell, figuring out the real trick behind that fancy magic. He steps right toward the boss. Grabbing a rock off the floor, he deduces the boss was just masking a basic pebble with an illusion. Our MC shatters the spell, snapping everything back to reality. With a little smirk, our guy calls out the boss for using shadow tricks and asks if that skill is called Playful Spirit. Balzafar is shook that our MC actually figured out his skill. Furious, Balzafar summons more dark magic, raging that trash like him dared to counter his technique. Laughing in the villain's face, our MC fearlessly declares he's gonna keep playing his little game since they're in the arena anyway. He coats the orb in magic, getting ready to throw down. Wasting no time, our boy triggers his power to clone his own body, daring the monster to guess the real one. Balzaphar charges his mana, forming a giant ball of energy. Firing it off, he aims right at our MC and his clone. The blast hits them both dead on. Our MC vanishes into a cloud of dust. Out of nowhere, he steps out without a scratch, proving it was all an illusion. Smiling, our guy knows for sure he can take Balzaphar down. Caught off guard, the villain groans in rage, snapping back that those little tricks are just cheap distractions. Shrugging it off, our boy turns his back on the Lord, saying he forgot his own weapon. He quickly reaches out, snatching the leader's spear and asking to borrow the tool. With the blade held high, our MC activates his mimic skill, letting him copy his target. Raising his hand, he pops the divine dice skill, revealing that different effects drop depending on his luck. He spins the heavy weapon in the air, telling the squad to pay attention to what's coming. With a grin, he twirls the spear at full speed, gearing up to strike. Getting into stance, our boy puts all his strength into throwing the weapon. The spear flies straight at Balzaphar, boosted by our MC's magic. Taken by surprise, the demon screams as the magic attack bounces right back at him. At full power, the spear smashes into the barrier, slowly making it crack and give way. It completely pierces the shield, hitting Balzaphar right in the chest. Unable to react, Balzaphar hits the ground, fuming over getting dropped in such a dumb way. Watching the dust settle, our MC just stands there chilling, like he didn't even do anything crazy. Flashing a proud smile, he casually mentions that the illusion duel was pretty fun. The warrior is left speechless, realizing the rookie was just messing around, but still soloed the entire boss. In shock, the leader steps up, trying to figure out what weird class makes this guy so OP. A magic cube floats in the air, revealing his class as a jester. Instantly, the warrior's jaw drops because he's never heard of that class in his entire life. Late at night in some office, a suit is working all alone, looking like a guy who lives with zero emotion. Head down in the crowd, this dude was your classic, boring weirdo, sporting a dead serious face full of eye bags. He was the kind of guy who didn't know how to play or have fun. Our MC smirks, saying that's how he had his awakening as a jester, the most cracked class ever, promising this is the story of how he clears every dungeon just by messing around. Flashback to a year ago, showing an office building in the dead of night. Inside, a hand is just typing away non-stop on a keyboard. Looking super tired and carrying heavy bags under his eyes, our MC is shown grinding in a suit. Then his boss walks in, screaming, demanding to know why he's got such a sour look on his face. The suit grabs the worker's head, mocking him about how nice it must be to be a useless bum who can't even hit his own quota, yanking our MC's hair. This scumbag demands 50 new monthly clients. So the kid tries explaining he already works until the last train and can't take it anymore. With an evil look, the boss tells him that the time everyone else is playing around is the perfect chance to step up and get ahead. Wiped out, our boy reveals his name is Yuma Anno, 25 years old, and this manager exploited him for morning to night. He explains that for a mere corporate slave like him, there was only one game in the entire world. A virtual battle was raging on, showing gaming was his only escape from that hellish job. Even the youngest kids were hooked on that game. In a heavily fictional world, the saving grace for this poor guy was the famous Manheim Online. This game hit 85 million registered users worldwide just 3 years after launch. It became a global hype thanks to its class system and co-op gameplay. Featuring a mythology-based setting, the real charm was in the stories built by characters who felt incredibly alive. And the famous dungeons were packed with traps, needing deep strategy with the squad to push forward together. Our MC's favorite detail was the crazy variety of classes and the massive amount of combos you could make when you level up. During a match, a teammate calls out on voice chat that the magic buff is fading, asking her buddy to renew it fast. The other party member replies instantly, telling them to leave the support to him. Sitting on his dark bedroom floor, our MC thanks them for the help, telling the squad to push since this was the perfect window to clear the raid. With a smile on his face, our boy thought those good gaming moments would last forever. Walking into the building, the words corporate dog and wage slave just loop in his head. Tatsuka gets all up in his face, saying he caught him on the server over the weekend, mocking the guy for having too much free time to play. Cold sweat drops as our MC remembers. Tatsuka is also into the game, even forcing him once to hand over his device to snoop through his whole account. Snatching the phone, the jerk says he's borrowing access and declares that from now on, the kid is working every single day off without exception. Digging through it, Tatsuka laughs, saying our MC won't need those rare gears and top-tier items anymore, swearing he's wiping the whole inventory. Panicking, the MC tries to stop him, begging him please not to touch that while the boss is already already transferring the loot to his own account. His expression just shatters in pure shock when this scumbag confirms he deleted everything for good. The phone screen flashes late at night, with guild members messaging him asking where he is for the raid and why he vanished out of nowhere. Beyond exhausted, our MC crashes on the bed still wearing his suit, not even having the energy to take off his work clothes. His vision shatters like glass, and his inner voice just wishes that if reality is already this massive pile of trash, everything might as well just end. When the next morning hits, he puts on his dress shoes and drags his exhausted body back to the office. Our MC pulls up right in front of the building where he works. Looking down, he reminds himself he needs to grind hard, because if he fails this month's quota, his paycheck is taking a nasty hit. His gaze suddenly shifts. Down a gloomy hallway full of stone pillars, our boy gets spooked. Super lost and wondering what this place is. Banging hard on a giant wooden gate, he freaks out and curses, complaining the stupid lock just won't budge. Leaning against the door, our MC notices a weird detail. Seeing the structure is exactly like his favorite game. Suddenly, our boy gets a massive jump scare, snapping his head back, feeling a very dangerous presence right behind him. A giant furry monster shows up drooling in the hall, making our MC instantly recognize what kind of beast that was. The massive beast charges at full speed straight for our MC. Somehow, the guy dodges the attack by pure luck, watching the monstrous creature lunge forward trying to take a bite out of him. In sheer panic, our MC checks his own body, wondering if the monster managed to slice him. He realizes in a cold sweat that if he doesn't bounce immediately, he'll be monster chow on the spot. Running like a maniac, he notices the cracks in the floor shaking. Terrified, the guy hits the brakes mid-escape and runs into a crossroads, getting even more stressed. He knows he has zero time to stand around hesitating, so he just says screw it and books it straight down the right path. Out of breath, he collapses on the ground, thanking his lucky stars, but questions again what the heck is going on. Checking out the giant entrance, he notices the vibe looks exactly like a door ripped straight from the game he played. Our MC remembers in panic that the beast is also part of that virtual world. And just like that, everything changed. His mind connects the dots and he figures out the game's dungeons actually invaded the real world. Confused by the clues, his eyes go wide, staring at the gloomy environment. Our boy questions where he ended up and spots a thick book resting on a weird pedestal in the middle of the mystery room. Slowly, he walks up to take a closer look and see what the deal is with this abandoned place. Reading the cover, the young guy mutters the book's title, wondering if it's The 1,000 Nights of Gaming by Ludian. The kid opens the pages in surprise, mentioning the item looks like a player's travel diary, but admits he never saw something this weird. He laughs, remembering he always wanted to know if the diary's owner tried tasting poison mushrooms in a boiling pot right in the witch's forest. Plus, he read about a crazy fishing duel where the dude pulled a massive fish out of the water, making for an epic story. Curiously, he focuses on the fact that the diary talks about Ludion cheating to win a card game against the Thief Monster Guild and getting banned. Finding their stupidity funny, our MC chuckles, confessing that the crazy stuff in this book is making the whole moment really fun. With a laugh, our MC asks what the heck this is, wondering if anyone out there was really this free and wild. Thinking about the past, our boy admits that compared to this, he looks pathetic, always keeping his head down and doing whatever his boss says. Seeing some witches stirring a cauldron, our MC admits he's jealous, wishing he could live just like that too. In tears, our boy begs to be so much freer. Then the book starts glowing and floats right up in the room. He just stares at the floating book, clueless about what's going on. Super confused, our MC lets out a murmur, questioning what kind of madness this is. Covered in a bright light, our MC says his body is burning and notices his wounds are healing on their own. The guy is shocked by a system prompt, letting him know he had his awakening as a player. Right after is the strange agitation with Say, right as amongst the hidden legendary jester class. He's amazed to see he actually became a real player after checking himself. Looking at the stat window, our boy realizes the class didn't exist before. Figuring out instantly, he pulled a secret skill with his luck at level 21. Suddenly, a massive crash echoes as something smashes hard, trying to tear down the gate. Our boy clicks his tongue, looking back, annoyed the beast from earlier followed him all the way here. Staring at the hall, our MC wonders if he can fight now, but quickly tenses up, realizing he has zero weapons to defend himself. The barricade finally snaps, and a weird monster jumps into the room ready to strike. Dodging the debris, our boy knows he has to take this beast out or he's game over, betting that if this is really the game, victory is in the bag. With a confident look, our MC swears nobody knows this stuff better than him, hyped and promising he'll handle business. Face to face with the beast, our boy sees it growling nasty right in front of him. He picks up a few rocks from the floor, getting ready to attack. Then the guy lets out a yell and chucks a stone at the creature with everything he's got. The throw is dead on, and the rock nails the monster right in the head, but the giant beast doesn't let it slide, leaping forward trying to rip him apart. With a nervous smile, our MC admits a tiny rock wasn't gonna do any real damage to that threat. Gripping a handful of sharp fragments, he warns that this ain't over yet. The kid celebrates while checking the status screen, saying he knew why his character's luck was so insanely high. Focusing on the numbers, the MC gets it instantly. If he stacks attacks, hitting criticals is gonna be a breeze. Then the system says he got the sharp fragment item, and the adventurer gears up saying that changes everything. Wasting no time, our MC grips the sharp rock and goes on the offensive, and in a crazy combo, he chains a bunch of quick strikes, slicing the pest from a distance. The plan works perfectly, and the beast takes a shower of critical hits, exploding all over its body. Because of that crack damage, the monster roars in pain and starts dusting, turning into ash in the air. Sweating bullets but rocking a huge grin, our hero clenches his fist, hyped that he finally won. Right after the green system screen flashes in front of him, dropping the level up notification. His stats shoot up instantly, showing his luck took an even bigger jump to 29. Full of swagger, our MC notices the power of his new class and confidently claims he can handle this. He walks toward a glowing door, swearing to himself he's making it out of there alive no matter what. Staring at a weird purple gate, our MC figures that if this is a real virtual dungeon, he just needs to beat the boss to unlock the exit. Suddenly, another person shows up standing right in front of the hall's gate. Looking closely at the kid, the man flashes a super creepy and evil smile. Our MC mentions he took a few more monster hits after that, but since he leveled up, taking them out became a total joke. Agilely dodging the beasts, our boy claims he's farmed thousands of these pests in the game and knows all their attack patterns. Stopping in front of a massive entrance, he instantly guesses that dark room has gotta be the boss room. Then a familiar voice shouts the MC's last name, spooking him. In absolute shock, our MC freezes in place, sweating cold and not believing who's standing there. The newcomer walks toward him, sarcastically mentioning the kid seems to be doing pretty well on his own. When he sees it's that trash, Tatsuka, our boy stutters, asking what he's doing here, and the guy says he came to work and found this whole mess. The boss laughs, explaining that killing mob enemies levels you up, already flexing that he became a level 6 warrior. That makes our MC gulp, tensing up while staring at his boss in dead silence. Pointing ahead, Tatsuka says the MC is going to be bait for the room's boss, and while the beast focuses on him, he'll land the final blow. Mind blown by the audacity, our MC mutters, questioning what this guy is even saying. Tatsuka loses his patience, stepping to the MC and screams in his face that a slave has to follow orders. With zero mercy, Tatsuka kicks the MC right in the back, telling him to just go inside already. Sliding across the floor inside, the adventurer shakes in fear as a massive, creepy shadow covers his body. A huge furry boss packed with sharp fangs pops up, roaring nasty and ready to attack the intruder. The beast swings its claw with everything it's got, launching a high-speed strike, but the MC jumps back and manages a crazy close dodge. In pure malice, Tatsuka crosses his arms and declares that a good subordinate's job is to die for his own boss. With a monstrous roar, the beast spins in the air and slams its tail down, aiming straight for its prey's head. Our MC gets caught off guard and takes the hit head-on, flying back while groaning in pain. Face down on the ground, he feels the despair hit and freaks out, repeating he can't die like this because he's way stronger and readier now. Tatsuka, crossing his arms with a mocking face, tells the MC to get eaten real quick so the pest drops its guard mid-meal. Watching Tatsuka, just chilling and watching the tragedy, he pulls his strength together and swears he refuses to die because of some trash like him. Kneeling and panting, the MC stares at a glow and hears an old man's voice telling him to stop just watching this disaster. The glowing spirit of a bearded man appears right in front of him. Surprised, our MC asks where this guy came from, but the ghost says that doesn't matter and the main thing is the kid is an official player now. Laughing, the old mustache guy tells him to start having fun with this and promises to lend his own strength for the fight. Our MC calms down after hearing the old bearded guy's words. On the other side, Tatsuka finds the scene weird, noticing the giant beast suddenly froze and stopped attacking the bait. Eyes narrowed and dead serious, our MC stands in absolute silence, shifting his expression from sheer terror to absolute rage. Furious, the boss rants, asking who the kid was chatting with and orders him to move fast and get eaten by the creature. The MC shoots a rage-filled glare at the scumbag and growls Tatsuka's name. Draped in a green magic aura, our hero breaks the silence, bluntly stating he's not his subordinate anymore. The coward sweats cold in fear and takes a step back, feeling the kid's killing intent boiling from afar. With his hand overflowing with power, our MC keeps it real, finishing his sentence and proving he's done being that trash's employee. The old ghost tells our MC to enjoy the moment more, promising to lend his strength and showing him how a real skill is used. Just then, the massive brown beast charges in, looking to attack the jester. The white-bearded spirit points a glowing finger and preps a spell. Then a blast of green energy hits the beast dead in the chest, stopping it in its tracks. Taking the surprise hit, the pest's eyes go wide, suffering a massive shock straight to the face. Right after, the creature shrinks, and our MC appears riding right on top of the little guy. The old man explains the trick, saying the MC now looks like one of that beast's minions. The monster growls while looking to the side, trying to communicate. Translating the monster's language, the old guy says the pest is telling the kid to completely wipe out Tatsuka back there. Our MC hesitates, looking back and muttering that Tatsuka is his boss. But the ghostly voice scoffs, saying titles mean nothing since at the end of the day, that coward is just another pawn being manipulated. The ghost stares at the mage, asking if he's still dreaming about work, and tells the kid to wake up because the real adventure starts now. Flashing a confident smile, our MC agrees with his master, realizing he's a real player now. Then the illusionist stands up, stepping firm on the room's dark floor. Standing face to face with Tatsuka, the MC declares he's living entirely free from now on. Furious, Tatsuka rants, demanding to know who the kid was talking to this whole time, and tells his subordinate to shut up and get eaten already. With his head held high, our MC activates his energy and bluntly says he doesn't take orders from that trash anymore. The coward freaks out, yelling in pure insult, reminding him he controls the performance reviews and threatens to show what happens when you talk back. He ignores the tantrum, focusing the vibrant aura in the palm of his hand. Aiming his hand straight at Tatsuka, our boy preps to strike. The system panel pops up for level 1 bluff skill, explaining the move alters the target's perception. Then the MC points his finger, blasting a bright light everywhere and scaring Tatsuka with the magic. Shocked, Tatsuka's eyes go wide, stuttering at the surprise flash. And no one saw that coming. When the smoke clears, the coward sees a giant version of himself screaming with a monster voice, leaving Tatsuka paralyzed with fear just watching the show. The giant boss projection rages hard, screaming to know what this slacker is doing there and demanding his work progress right away. Scared to death, Tatsuka throws his hands up, trying to explain, stuttering, "Sir," and asking how long he's been there. Shaking like a leaf, Tatsuka swears on his life the delay is entirely the MC's fault, begging for mercy on his own review. Tatsuka smirks cynically, thinking he dodged a bullet this time. Right then, the monster smashes Tatsuka in the snout with full force, exploding in his face. Thrown way back and spitting blood, the crazy dude groans in pain, totally lost on what's happening. Stunned, he hears a metallic cling hitting the dungeon's stone floor. A longsword slides across the floor, stopping right next to the MC. Soon enough, Tatsuka realizes the projection wasn't his weird boss at all, but the beast that snapped back to normal. With glowing red eyes, the creature leaps, ready to tear its easy prey to shreds. Tatsuka realizes that strike would straight up end his life. At that moment, the beast lands a direct hit, kicking up a massive flash of dust in the hall. The old ghost smiles at the MC's power. Paralyzed, Tatsuka realizes he almost got taken out. With a disgusted look, our boy turns his head away, telling the useless guy to get out of there and never show up again. Spooked, the coward gets up fast and in the blink of an eye, sneaks off, leaving a trail of dust behind. In one swift motion, he parries the monster's strike with ease. Rushing the beast, our MC swings the sword, winding up a full power attack. Yelling mid-fight, our MC feels something he hasn't felt in ages. With a clean slash of his sword, he cuts the monster right in half, taking it down. Catching his breath, our MC turns to the old ghost just as a system screen pops up. The screen lights up the room, dropping a level up notice that jumped from 2 straight to 5 in a flash. Brightly, another notification glows, stating the MC unlocked the level 1 mimic skill. Then the final screen pops, officially declaring he managed to clear the dungeon. A massive aura of light fills the dark hall, brightening the spot from end to end. Right after that, our MC spawns standing in the middle of a city street. Smiling, he whispers in disbelief that he actually managed to clear that whole inferno. But focusing his sight, he freezes in fear, watching a flying, bat-like creature cross the sky. The beast flaps its wings fast, flying right over the modern downtown buildings. In the middle of the city, a giant screen plays breaking news, showing the dungeons spawning. Showing a massive monster, the broadcast reports that these mystery creatures were spotted worldwide. The report keeps going, saying a mysterious continent spawned in the middle of the ocean, out of nowhere, with witnesses claiming that mountain was always there. The City Hall announcement on the screen begs the crowd to stay calm, for God's sake, practically pleading with everyone not to lose it. And it doubles down, telling the public to keep a cool head while a frozen crowd just stares at the warning in terror. People start freaking out, questioning what was going down and wondering what's going to happen to the world. Completely detached from the city chaos, the MC puts his hands on his hips, chilling as he looks at the buildings with a smirk, saying things just got interesting. Floating next to him, the spirit notices he's finally making a good face, praising him and saying that's exactly what he expected from his chosen guy. Our MC thanks the master for saving his life back there and straight up asks who the old man really is. Laughing casually, the mustache guy introduces himself as Rudion, claiming he's just a jester and nothing more. Shocked, the kid's eyes go wide, remembering Rudion is the name of that mystery book's author. Cutting the small talk, the old man says complaining changes nothing, and suggests they enjoy the setup, asking with full swagger what the kid's gonna do next. Deep in thought, the mage puts a hand on his chin, looking at the buildings and pondering his next move. Staring at a giant tower downtown, our MC mentions he's seen that dungeon before. He drops a massive grin, announcing he just had a genius idea. During a game flashback, the bright-lit stone hallway leads right to a massive open door. A treasure chest sits past the door, proving there's gotta be some top-tier loot inside. He remembers there's a giant pale goddess statue sitting right in the middle of the holy room. At the dungeon door, he checks the sign that says tutorial, realizing this place teaches the game's basics. Hand on his chin, the spirit gets confused, asking what they're doing at a newbie zone in the middle of all this. Touching the door, our MC explains there's a hidden sealed room with a treasure chest over there. Plus, he mentions the lore talks about a secret goddess treasure locked up in that spot. Intrigued by the intel, the old mustache guy steps up, curious to hear more. The MC explains that since the game dropped, nobody ever grabbed that prize. The box is visible to everyone, but no matter how hard they try, opening it is impossible. Flashing back to the game, the red chest glows bright, while our MC admits that thing always bothered him his whole life. Hand on his chest, the illusionist flashes a confident smirk, telling his partner he finally has a way to crack that box open. The Ghostmaster laughs at the kid's swagger, realizing the whole world just became the MC's playground, telling him to go all out and have fun. Waving goodbye, he announces he's taking a nap, leaving our MC staring at him awkwardly. With a sigh, he mutters that the old guy just spawns and despawns whenever he wants, complaining about how lazy he is. The warrior stares in awe at the giant stone layout with pillars and a fountain, confirming this is the newbie labyrinth. Stepping slowly, the divine entity floats down a light beam, catching the kid's eye as he looks up amazed. The blonde goddess in white clothing welcomes the player, fighting to protect the world, introducing herself as the beginner's labyrinth. Amazed by her presence, he whispers that seeing the goddess in real life is way more divine than on a screen. Still reeling from the shock, our MC notices the entity's lines are the exact same ones from the original game. The mystic lady guides the hero on how to fight and carve a path to the dungeon exit, blessing the warrior. And right before vanishing, the goddess promises her blessing will always be with him, lighting up the whole spot. Pulling his hat down to hide his face, the MC drops a side smirk, cooking up a strat in his head. Instantly, the entity makes a status screen pop up in front of the player, telling him to check his stats right there. The woman keeps teaching that you can see her HP and MP, but our MC just turns around and walks off. Then she tells him to open the chest up ahead, only to notice the kid already beat her to it and cracked the thing open. Holding a basic sword, our boy complains he only got the copper weapon just like the last dungeon, and the lady tells him to show a little gratitude. Right then, a fireball spawns out of nowhere in the holy room shaped like a face, announcing an enemy just showed up. With her eyes closed, the goddess instructs the adventurer to ready his weapon and stay focused on the battle. The fireball just hovers there, waiting for the MC to make a move. In one quick motion, our MC takes out the fireball, leaving the tutorial goddess totally stunned by his strength. He walks firmly to the pillar, spotting her robotic speech as she summons the next enemy. With his sword ready, he takes a deep breath, calculating his next move in a flash. Gripping the blade tight, he gets ready to launch a strike right there. And with a clean hit, he tries smashing everything in the room while the goddess has no clue what he's up to. Our MC stares at the wall right after delivering a heavy sword strike. Even with all that power, the hit wasn't enough to even scratch the room's wall. Freaking out, the deity screams, demanding to know what the human is doing, and bans him from damaging that holy dungeon. Hyped up, the MC smiles seeing the goddess get mad, muttering he's gonna push his luck just a little more. A massive dark figure shows up, and our MC bets that attacking the woman will summon the Floor Zero hidden boss, nicknamed the Goddess of Black Rage. The tutorial goddess holds it together and tries stopping the MC from wrecking the place again. In a flashback, our MC remembers the ghostly voice dropping to the floor, celebrating they finally escaped that eternal prison for good. He recalls the dialogue and the drops from that fateful moment, locking the victory items and his next steps in his head. Remembering a terrifying shadow, the MC says everything belongs to him now. It turns out the Crown of Thorns is the source of the goddess's dark magic and acts as the key to the sealed room. Our MC confirms the tutorial dungeon was actually the exact same eternal prison from the lore. With a side smile, he looks back and asks the goddess if she knows anything about that chest. Closing her eyes, the entity just loops back to her original lines about focusing and skills, totally ignoring his question. Annoyed and thinking she's a pain, the MC attacks the wall, completely ignoring the tutorial goddess. The goddess gets pissed off about being ignored by the MC yet again. In pure rage, the demonic creature screams, telling the MC to shut up and listen while she's explaining the rules. Our MC turns around, realizing he actually reached his goal, and that's where it gets crazy, showing off her demonic aura. The dark goddess respawns with a terrifying smile, warning this is just the tip of her power's iceberg. The goddess asks if the MC really thought he'd leave unhurt after pissing her off. She charges in, muttering about how absolutely sick she was of repeating the same tutorial lines every single day for any nobody who showed up. Leaning forward, the tutorial goddess asks if he thought he could mess with her and just walk away clean. She unleashes a brutal full-power strike, slicing the air and sending the MC flying. Caught off guard, our MC uses his sword to block, realizing that against a boss like this, he wouldn't last a second taking a direct hit. With her claws out, the goddess gets ready to strike the MC again. Our boy tries dodging away, mentioning she's way faster than he thought, and notices there's no way to dodge that kind of attack. Seeing the strike close in, our MC realizes dodging is completely off the table. The goddess lands the hit dead on, tearing into the MC with her claws. And as a reflex, the kid's weapon ends up slipping and falling to the side from the absurdly heavy blow. Hyped to finally fight, the tutorial goddess reveals how badly she's wanted to do this to all the newbies for years. She screams that she would have eliminated everyone she found useless a long time ago. Seeing how brutal she was, our hero breathes a sigh of relief for barely escaping her killing rage. The goddess is mind-blown when she realizes she just fought an illusion of the MC. Gripping the spiky artifact, the MC sighs in relief, mentioning thank God the bluff magic triggered at the exact right moment to turn the tables. With the magic crown in his left hand, the MC calmly shows off the stolen relic. Shocked with her jaw dropped, the goddess freezes like a statue and groans, asking when the bug snatched her crown. Rocking a massive smile, the kid remembers exactly how he pulled off the slick crown heist. With his arms crossed behind his head, the MC laughs out loud at the goddess's panic, saying that whole play was a masterpiece. He holds the black crown tight and smiles, letting her know that from now on, her holy treasure is all his. Standing in front of giant double doors, our MC gets ready to walk in. With the crown of thorns in hand, he watches the item glowing bright. Then, the heavy passage opens up, kicking up a ton of dust. Hyped up, our boy celebrates that the thing actually opened. His eyes go super wide, completely shocked by the scene, revealing a fancy gold chest, glowing like crazy in the middle of the room. Near the box, our boy mutters that this is the goddess's secret treasure, getting curious about what's inside. Wasting no time, he steps up to the box to grab the loot. Then the system says he got the legendary Ring of Divine Blessing, detailing the jewel fully restores HP when the user is about to get taken out. Raising the accessory high, our MC hypes up and screams he got it, thinking it's wild and confirming it's a completely busted piece of gear. But right after, he notices something weird and mutters in confusion. Looking through the ring's hole, he spots something on the floor and asks what that could be. Deep inside the dungeon, the tutorial goddess is passed out cold on the stone floor. Slowly waking up, she grumbles, feeling her body super heavy. Sitting up, the entity rubs her head, complaining about the pain, wondering where she ended up. And soon she looks down at her own hands, kinda surprised by everything. Talking to herself, the deity remembers she completely lost it in her own rage before blacking out. Suddenly, the lady snaps her head back, hearing a noise. and catches our MC swimming chill in the water fountain behind her, acting all smug and asking if she's awake yet. Shocked and foaming with rage, the goddess screams, wanting to know what the heck this kid thinks he's doing there. Our MC just floats in the fountain, saying he always wanted to take a dip there, feeling the amazing water while the stunned entity asks what he's up to. Looking at the open door in the back, the woman mutters, completely clueless about what's going on. Then the goddess walks slowly toward the passage, staring at the mystery pedestal while our boy just watches from the water. As she gets closer, the system shows the fancy open chest with gold details in the middle of the dark. The deity holds the magic accessory, questioning why he unlocked the spot but left the whole prize behind. Soaking wet, leaving the secret room, our MC explains he figured it was something cherished for a long time, so he chose to leave it. Getting serious, he points out the ring is super old, but it was so well kept it almost fooled his eyes at first. Hand on her chest, the mystic figure falls dead silent, looking really touched by his words. Then a memory pulls up a giant temple on a sunny day, showing 3 divine women hanging out outside. The screen details a stone statue blowing smoke while crafting the holy rings from its mouth. Full of joy, the friends celebrate, screaming they finally got matching blessing accessories to honor their bond. Showing their hands together in the air, the matching jewels glow bright, marking the moment. With a sweet smile, the tutorial goddess suggests using the items to travel and play all over the world. Walking hand in hand on the green grass, she admits she used that piece a lot back when she was freer. Back in the present, the goddess looks at the jewel, sad, saying she sealed it away, thinking it didn't belong to the person she became today. With her eyes closed and a heavy look, she mourns, believing she'd never put that on her finger again. Our MC leans against the doorframe, sparking up a chat, asking if she got stuck running that tutorial forever. Remembering his own old routine walking down a dark hall in a suit, the MC confesses he gets the struggle, recalling he went through something similar. Stunned by the guy's empathy, the goddess looks ahead, not knowing what to say. He opens his arms in the middle of the hall, lightening the mood, saying it's fine to try having some fun, but the goddess doubts it. Chatting casually, he pitches the idea for her to make secret passages, change up her look, and stuff like that, even suggesting she sneak out sometimes. Our MC holds his hand out in a super friendly and cheerful vibe. Smiling, he states she doesn't need to stay locked up in there anymore. With a calm look, the goddess confesses the MC made her realize something really important. Deep in thought, the deity flashes a subtle smile and mutters in agreement. Holding hands in the air, the goddess smiles, saying she likes the idea and tells him to keep the ring. Startled seeing the item land in his palm, our boy hesitates, but the deity promises it's all good. She wraps it up by declaring she wants him to be the bearer of the holy jewel in a soft, firm tone. Back in the dungeon, he gears up to leave, letting her know he'll swing by again someday to play. The MC turns to the giant door while the goddess watches, warning him to be careful since the outside is swarming with enemies. Taking a deep breath, he turns his head slightly, wondering out loud why on earth the whole world ended up like this. Saddened by the memory, the goddess admits she doesn't know the answer to the chaos either, sharing she only heard a voice in her head guiding her steps. Surprised, our MC thoughtfully repeats the part about that voice, genuinely thanking her for the intel. Sitting at the edge of the door laughing, the boy decides to just enjoy the moment and mess around with everything out there. With a bright smile, the deity agrees and says she'll do the exact same thing from now on. A few days later, the crowd hits the lobby and lets out a collective shout, not believing what's right in front of them. Right in front of the room stood a sign left by the tutorial goddess. Frustrated and confused, a player curses while reading the sign, saying the goddess stepped out, leaving tips on how to use weapons and train skills. Our MC was just leaning back, watching and smiling at everything unfolding right there. He checks out the ring with the old guy, praising how well things are going, and excitedly plans his next move in the open world. Staring at the news screen about a newly discovered continent, our boy instantly decides that'll be the first stop on his journey. Super hyped about the idea, the kid mentions that just thinking about the adventure gets him fully pumped. Right then, the old man's ghost pops up, boosting the kid's energy, telling him to go enjoy that world to the fullest and saying everything out there is waiting for him. With a wide smile and closed eyes, our little MC easily agrees, ready to put the plan into action. Suddenly, the boy's phone starts buzzing in his pocket, grabbing his attention right away. Grabbing the device, he notices the call is from his guildmate, seeing his buddy Suwa is ringing. But on the other end of the line, the guy screams in panic, begging for help, leaving the adventurer in total shock. Already running in distress, our boy asks what went wrong. Beaten and bleeding on the ground, the nerd says he's stuck and can't move, crying that he's gonna end up dying if things stay like this. Picking up the pace, our MC lets him know he's on his way and demands a guy's exact location fast. He remembers the chubby dude has been his BR duo forever, being such an addict player that he even ranked among the server's best. Thinking about his partner's skills, the kid finds it impossible for a guy like that to struggle on a basic floor, while a giant claw approaches the nerd. With a serious face and sweating cold, our MC rushes forward, focused on getting there fast to save his friend's skin. He tries to figure out what kind of craziness must have happened to the guy for him to end up in that state of pure panic, cornered on the ground. Stepping into the red dungeon, our boy comments that this really is the beginner level just like they said. He dashes through the place, figuring the monsters there shouldn't be tough, and tries to understand why Suwa is suffering so much. Right then, the ghost spawns, asking the reason for the rush, and our kid says his friend is in deep trouble and needs to find him fast to help. Thoughtful, the old guy reflects on the word friend, mentioning that even with the world changing, some bonds stay intact. The spirit keeps going, saying the people you still look out for are true comrades, but the MC cuts him off, focused on his buddy. Stopping out of nowhere, our boy's eyes go wide, stunned by what he sees up ahead. Our MC spots his friend, shouting his name, trying to call out to him. Almost reaching the nerd, he yells, asking if the guy is alright, while the chubby dude just shakes in fear. Crying in relief, the nerd thanks God for the rescue, and our MC immediately demands to know what the heck went down. After recovering from the scare, his buddy explains he thought the basic floor would be a breeze, but things went really bad. Clueless, our boy wants to know if some off-script monster spawned, reminding him the environment doesn't have to be exactly like the game. But the nerd clutches his own injured arm, shaking hard, and tells him that wasn't the issue. Our MC stays quiet, staring at the chubby dude, totally confused, waiting for the explanation. To save time, the adventurer points to the exit, telling him to bounce, and promises to clear the dungeon together just like they used to. As the brawl breaks out, the partner blocks the giant wolf's attack with his shield and tells his buddy to strike right then. Gaining momentum, our kid dashes at absurd speed, tearing up the ground, and with a perfect sword slash, he slices the big, ugly beast from behind, finishing the creature off. Going for that high five, our MC praises the call, swearing their teamwork is flawless, and adds with a laugh that they've been gaming together for ages. Super Hyped, he mentions that clearing the stage as a duo brings back that game nostalgia, while the nerd agrees, still shaking a bit. But then Suwa stares closely at the warrior, suddenly noticing a detail, and lets out a shocked murmur. Right then, the partner points ahead, saying he found a treasure chest. Wasting no time, the big nerd pops open the glowing wooden box. Then the system flashes on the screen that the guy scored a +1 longsword. Excited, our boy thinks the item is pretty solid, pointing out that with the right upgrade, even a low-level weapon beats the rarest ones. Gripping the blade tight, Suwa agrees, saying with that he can finally put up a fight. However, Suwa ignores a jar on the ground, saying the rest is just copper sand and trash materials, so our MC decides to take it. Snatching the flask, the MC asks why his buddy doesn't want to take it since it's all smooth and super shiny. And that's where it gets crazy. A giant shadow appears behind them, leaving the player in complete shock. A horned monster with a wild aura spawns right behind their backs. Shaking in panic, Suwa backs up, clutching his new weapon, and lets out a little squeak of despair. Then our MC steps in, tearing through the wind to land a nasty hit on the beast while his partner just watches with his jaw drop. Stuttering, his buddy thanks him for the save, while the kid notices how weak his friend is and gets suspicious. He glances sideways at the nerd, dead sure something is very wrong, and tries to figure out what happened to him. Soon after, the two stop in front of giant wooden double doors, and our boy says that's gotta be the boss room. Looking to the side, he hypes up his partner, saying they just gotta beat the leader to bounce, asking if the guy is ready and getting a very nervous yes. With his hand on the heavy passage, the MC pushes the wood, making a huge racket in the place. The door reveals a spiky-shelled monster that lets out a bizarre roar, glaring at the duo. Charging forward, the creepy creature screams loud, ready to strike. In a cold sweat, Suwa tries to build up the courage to face the boss. Muttering to himself, he swears that this time, with that sword, he's gonna pull off the win. Full of panic, Suwa takes off running in despair, trying to attack the monster. Seeing this go down, our MC reaches out, telling his partner to wait a sec. Except his buddy just screams in terror and swings the sword wildly in the air. Right then, the beast raises its giant claw, prepping a devastating strike. The monster snaps Suwa's sword like it's absolutely nothing. Seeing the blade shatter, the nerd goes into shock and just freezes up. The beast raises its claw again, ready to deliver another hit. Desperate, our boy lets out a yell, warning his friend to watch out. Way too fast, the adventurer rushes in, landing a strike with his sword. Thanks to the force of the hit, the monster gets thrown backward. Never dropping his guard, our MC asks if Suwa is okay, and the injured guy can only let out a groan, kneeling on the floor. With tears streaming down his face, Suwa cries about his blade being gone and says he's gonna end up dying right there. Baffled, the MC questions what the heck got into the guy, reminding him they just had to fight together like they always did. But cutting him off, the chubby guy screams at the top of his lungs, admitting he's scared to death. Eyes wide open, our MC's completely stunned by his ally's confession. Then Suwa explains he initially thought they'd be wheat mobs like in the game, but reality hits way different than a computer screen. Staring at the beast, Suwa details that the creatures are massive and straight up reek of fresh blood. Suwa keeps venting, complaining that even the gear is way too heavy to carry. And with the memory of an enemy attack, he confesses that taking a hit actually hurts like crazy. Taking advantage of the distraction, the boss charges full speed right at Suwa. Distressed, the nerd concludes that the visuals might be similar, but everything changed, which is why he has no courage left to fight. In that split second, RMC remembers the jar he found inside the chest, so he grabs the jar and scatters all the powder in the air. The dust hits the monster, leaving it kinda dizzy. Approaching Suwa, our MC tells him to head somewhere safer. As the opponent backs off, our MC takes the lead and faces the beast down. The old ghost watches from the front row, laughing because he finds it funny he used trash loot to distract the enemy and save his buddy. But the spirit praises the top-tier move, saying there's a playful style in how he fights. Squaring up against the shelled creature, the MC draws his steel, warning that the thick armor and claws on that thing won't give them a break. He tries to find an opening and attacks, but the slash just sparks off, noting the stupid bone armor is way too tough. And with a grunt of pain, he concludes the basic copper sword won't even scratch this demon. Watching the struggle, the mustache guy casually asks how our hero plans to get out of this one. The big monster doesn't waste time and tries another strike with its sharp fangs, but the MC steps back instantly, dodging the danger. Figuring he can definitely take the monster down, our MC thinks about popping that specific skill. Casually, our MC comments, letting Suwa know he's gonna handle this personally. Suwa screams, telling the kid not to get any closer or he'll end up dying in the process. Charging the skill in his hand, our boy rushes straight toward the monster. Upon getting close, our MC taps his hand right on the beast. But with glowing eyes and a subtle smirk, he points his finger forward and tells his partner to just watch the show. The system shows the mimic worked, but drops a warning that the timer is super short, lasting only 1 second. Deep in thought, our MC figures that if regular steel can't pierce the shell, then his best bet is to focus directly on the enemy's razor-sharp claws. Analyzing the bug's giant claw, he locks his eyes right on the joint of the thing. The monster stands there, having no clue what kind of power that is. Meanwhile, our MC charges in with everything he's got right at the monster. Popping his skill, our boy lands a massive blow straight into the beast. The hit was heavy enough to completely shatter the monster's shell. With a serious look, our MC thinks that 1 second just isn't enough time. The impact is so brutal, the giant monster roars in pain and backs off. That strike from the MC left a wide open spot right on the monster's abdomen. Taking advantage of the opponent backing up, he grabs the big monster's attention again, proving he's got this in the bag. He shifts his stance, grips the weapon tight with both hands, and puts all his strength into slicing the creature in half. And with a massive crack, the kid's blade blows past its defense, destroying the weakest part and sending blood flying everywhere. Suwa is mind-blown, seeing that the MC took down the monster entirely solo, while the old ghost just smiles watching the way the MC fights. The monster got absolutely bodied by the MC. Walking away victorious from the fight, our boy is pumped, and once the brawl ends, he casually fixes his hat with a little side smirk, hyped that his plan actually worked. The system screen flashes, showing he jumped 5 levels at once, hitting level 9. Popping up again, the system window lets him know the playful spirit skill got unlocked for him. Outside, the buildings stretch out, proving the duo managed to make it out. Looking up at the open sky in the middle of the city, our MC takes a deep, relieved breath, celebrating finally escaping that gross pit. Without missing a beat, Suwa sadly announces he's out from here on out, confessing he's done being a player in this crazy world. The MC is taken aback by the choice, having no clue what got into his head all of a sudden. Remembering the beating since the whole thing started, he cries, saying he doesn't want to risk his life like that anymore. He insists that if it's the two of them, they could overcome anything. Suwa says he's still terrified of this new world. He thinks back to that last fight and sees it was crystal clear right there just how weak he really is. Hearing this from his friend, the guy who always stood by his side in games, makes our MC sad. Suwa smiles, admitting he got pretty hyped watching the MC fight. He just stood there, quietly listening to whatever Suwa had to say. This dude mentions that even though the game is offline, he's gonna try out other games in the meantime, and then he wonders what the MC is gonna do next. The MC replies that he's thinking about heading to the new continent. Excited, he thinks about what he might find over there. Suwa points out that continent wasn't even revealed in the actual game. Smiling, our MC says he's looking for a party to head out there. With a smile, Suwa tells the MC to come back alive and tell him all about his adventures. The MC smiles, confirming he will. Then the two of them bump fists, sealing their friendship right there. Happy as can be, Suwa waves to his buddy, heading back to the real world feeling way more at ease. Taking a look at his phone, the adventurer reads the rules to join this research team for the new continent. The MC figures a ton of players are going to try and jump on that team. Plus, the government-approved guilds are also going to want those spots. And the first requirement on the screen is that players gotta be at least level 15 just to apply. Then he frowns, remembering a detail, noting he's also gonna need to score some heavier gear to pass the test. He figures he needs to find a spot where he can farm XP and grab some sick loot at the same time. With that idea in mind, the image of a giant fortress pops up, and he confirms the perfect spot would be a dungeon focused on hoarding treasures. Getting serious, he notes that applications close in 2 days, so he's gonna have to race against the clock. Outside, it shows a massive building with endless windows in the middle of the business district, looking like some major corporation's headquarters. And from the fancy sign on the door, we find out the Takajo Corporation operates right there. In the boardroom, the guild boss is sitting at the main table in a suit, while the whole team listens in dead silence. The rich guy, named Shoya, who's also the president of everything, announces with a firm voice that he's gonna expose the worst members of the group. Instantly, a suit sweats cold, a blonde girl frowns, and another woman tenses up while listening to the leader, showing zero mercy. The boss straight up fires Yoshi from the guild and the company right in front of everyone. The poor guy's eyes go wide, grabbing his head in total despair, unable to believe he just lost his job and his spot. And the rich dude just clowns the ex-member, telling him his hunting and gathering numbers are pure trash compared to the rest. With that intimidating glare, he wraps it up by calling the guy useless trash, saying there's a huge line of people wanting his spot, warning the rest of the crew not to slack off. The leader drops a notice that relying only on the guild's name is a shortcut to ruin. Right next to the boss, a blonde girl crosses her arms, glaring at the big screen, looking pretty ticked off. Spotting her name up there, she mutters in shock that she ranked third and crushes her paper in pure rage. Upset, the blonde shakes with anger, complaining that even after sacrificing her sleep, she still only managed to hit third place. Narrowing her eyes, the girl focuses her gaze and promises she's going to have to push way harder to avoid falling behind. She watches the president drop his speech up front, paying close attention to his point that in a chaotic world, whoever moves first takes control of everything. But the boss wraps up his speech with a smile, declaring that all of this is to achieve his grand ideal. Showing a video of the rich guy on his phone, the MC explains that his company is aiming to be the top dog and dominate global exploration. And from what's going around online, the crew is already building their own team, which is honestly bad news for our MC. The second he steps into the dungeon, he notices the place is packed with undead roaming around. Right then, he runs into a bunch of players, including a woman gunning down monsters while jumping all over the place. The kid looks around surprised, seeing just how crowded the area really is. Spotting a monster nearby, he sees it's a treasure hunter zombie with torn clothes heading straight for him. The MC remembers that to drop these monsters, you gotta aim right for the head. Taking a hit, one of the monsters gets a massive hole blown right through it. Suddenly, the MC catches sight of that blonde girl in the middle of the hall, blasting a zombie in the back with a huge gun. The girl turns around thinking she took the monster out, but the thing didn't die. Getting back up, the zombie charges at the blonde, so our MC spots it and yells for her to watch out. He jumps in when he sees the beast creeping up on the girl, slicing the enemy with a clean strike. The girl just stares, totally surprised by what just went down. Shouting out, our MC wants to know if she's alright. Furious, Natsume snaps at the adventurer, telling him not to steal her prey like that. Caught off guard, his eyes go wide, super confused by the girl's sudden outburst. That person was Natsume Nishika, a member of the glorious Falcon Guild. Getting pissed off, Natsume snaps at the MC for stealing her kills right when she's trying to hit her quota. The kid looks at her and thinks he was just trying to help out. Right then, another guy steps up telling Natsume to keep moving, and she replies by following the order. Seeing that, our MC remembers back when he had to meet his own work quotas, realizing that even here, none of them are actually having fun. Then the old ghost asks the MC if he wasn't in a hurry, and he replies he's gonna take it easy and just enjoy the dungeon. A torch with blue flames lights up the whole area. Pushing forward, our boy enjoys the dungeon even if it delays his plans. The old ghost smiles at the MC's choice. Up ahead, the guild crew spots a few monsters, yelling for everyone to get ready to attack. The leader barks the order, and Natsume follows it, gearing up. Meanwhile, the other two just stand there doing nothing but watching. At that moment, Natsume glances back, watching the MC strolling casually. The MC smiles, having a good time while exploring the dungeon. Suddenly, he stops in his tracks, thinking about the dungeon. Turning to the old ghost, he starts chatting with him. Just then, the guild stumbles upon a mystery room. As they walk in, they see a bunch of chests that reveal some pretty cool loot when cracked open. One of the members opens a chest, hoping to score a solid item. Instead, he pulls out a dirty, rusted dagger. Seeing the item was completely useless, he just grabs it and tosses it away. The kid dashes over and manages to catch the dagger before it hits the floor. Right away, the system screen flashes, letting him know he snagged the busted dagger. Checking out the new gear, our kid smiles, finding the shape pretty interesting, and mentions he can use it for a ton of cool tricks. But two background guys start mocking him, saying they'd rather fight barehanded than grab that, telling him to have fun with the trash. Behind our boy, the jerks warn him that the good blades go to whoever grabs them first, already bragging they're taking the boss rewards too. Unfazed, our MC takes it easy, thinking that even if an item is labeled useless, it all depends on how you use it. Then the scene opens up, showing absolute chaos in the middle of the hall with a group attacking a bunch of monsters at once. Riding the momentum, our kid charges at an undead and slices the enemy with a quick strike using the dagger. He spins the dagger like a pro, noticing the weight shift from its curved shape is actually sick, celebrating that he already got the hang of it. Far away from there, the annoying guys stop in front of a dark passage, saying that path leads straight to the boss. Wasting no time, the little group walks deep into the dungeon's gloomy hallway. Startled, one of the cocky guys looks down, totally confused, seeing a metal trap just snapped shut on someone's leg. Natsume rushes over to her fallen teammates while they crawl around groaning in pain, complaining about falling for a trick like that. In total panic, one of the injured guys looks back and screams for his partner to help them out fast. She runs to help her superior, but the girl's eyes go wide in sheer terror instantly when she hears a heavy crash coming from ahead. Soon, a giant metal foot stomps down hard on the stone floor, kicking up a cloud of dust. And that's where it gets crazy. A massive robot armored monster steps out of the dark, showing off a glowing red core on its chest. Putting it all together, Natsume realizes in shock that the creature is the guardian protecting the boss room. She already draws her string, firing an arrow of pure light and telling the enemy to eat that attack. The arrow hits the creature's metal chest dead on, but doesn't even leave a scratch. Unable to believe what she's seeing, the archer reacts in shock, muttering that her attack didn't even work. Right away, she figures out the guardian was built completely around defense. Lowering her bow, Natsume realizes her own weapon just doesn't have the firepower to take that thing down. To make things worse, she notices the red button to disable the trap is right behind the stone enemy. Then our MC slides up next to her and casually asks if the plan is just to hit that target all the way in the back. Fixing his hat with style, he tells her to leave the job to him and pulls out that crooked dagger from earlier. The extra stuck in the trap sees this and yells, calling the kid a complete lunatic. But the MC couldn't care less, mentioning to the old ghost that these guys really don't know anything. Making the gear glow, our boy confidently claims that even a trash item has its use. Suddenly, the dagger changes shape, popping out two more blades and shifting its curve. Another message pops up soon after, saying the trash turned into a high-speed boomerang that tracks its target and always returns to the owner. Watching the show, Natsume's jaw drops, completely lost on how the magic trick worked, and the jerk on the floor also freezes with a shocked face, muttering about what the heck is going on. With a hyped smile, our boy throws the boomerang with everything he's got, telling the item to show its true power. The blade slices through the air like a rocket, leaving a glowing trail as it flies straight at the giant machine. In a devastating hit, the weapon strikes the big monster, and as a bonus, it shatters the red core and hits the switch. Depleted of its power source, the giant robot loses all strength and drops to its knees on the ground, totally defeated. Along with the guardian dropping, the iron claws of the trap pop open on their own, freeing the loudmouth teammate's leg. Still in shock, Natsume's eyes go wide, impressed that the attack wrecked the heavy beast and hit the button all the way in the back at the same time. Catching the boomerang, our MC casually says he already figured there'd be some traps along the way. Then, crouching on the dungeon floor, he explains he was already scouting everything out while the squad was moving up. Smiling confidently, our kid claims that even items labeled as trash deserve a chance to put in work. Both extras were still stuck on the floor, bleeding out. Worried, Natsume runs over asking if the duo was okay, and one of them curses in anger over falling for a trick like that. Clenching his fist, the guy desperately says that if they fail the mission, they're getting kicked from the guild instantly. With a shocked face, he mutters in a cold sweat that there won't be anywhere left for them to go. But Natsume cuts the talk, letting them know there's still time to hit the quota, and for that, they just need to beat the boss. Right then, the injured guy groans in pain, gritting his teeth and grabbing his bleeding wound. Seeing the situation, Natsume calls it, saying there's no way her partner can keep moving with that massive hole in his leg. She frowns, muttering that if she has to, she'll just walk into the boss room completely solo. Putting her hand on her chest, she steps up and swears she's gonna drop the giant beast whatever it takes. Out of options, the ally lowers his head in defeat and tells his partner they're counting on her to clean up the mess they made. Fired up, the girl confirms the plan and promises that no matter what happens, she'll make the group's ideal a reality. While the blonde drops her heroic speech, our MC just watches the scene from the corner of his eye. Examining the metal trap, the MC mentions that trick was pretty dirty. The MC turns around, realizing he just got called out. She points out they're out here risking their lives, while the MC is just having a good time. With pure fire in her eyes, Natsume warns the MC not to get in her way. To that, the MC asks if she's just out there to meet a quota. Cutting to a bright sky, the girl explains all the hard work is to achieve a much bigger ideal down the road. The kid remembers the company he worked for and how he's already heard that exact same speech. Staring at the door, Natsume takes a deep breath, swearing she can't back down, all for the dream of a better world. She keeps a serious stance, locking in on the goal and claiming she can't slip up now if she wants to honor her promise. Believing in her own power, she tells the MC to stay out of it. The MC remembers seeing the boss of that guild on the news, and he remembers his old company had the exact same vibes. The doors swing open and they step right into the boss room. They walk into the room with zero clue about what's waiting for them. The Guardian's threatening figure reveals a single glowing green eye and a creepy smile right on its metal face. Analyzing the beast, our MC mutters that it's an ancient treasure guardian fueled by heavy magic. Never losing focus, he figures out the creature hunts down anyone trying to grab the dungeon's main prize. A bunch of gears come flying straight at the two of them. Tearing through the room, those gears start wrecking everything right in their path. Midair, Natsume draws her bow and shows off her skills, dodging the hazards. She aims with style, firing a quick arrow straight at the monster. But the arrow just bounces off the thick armor without doing any damage, flying away instantly. Almost getting hit, she tries to keep her balance, muttering in frustration that it's way too hard to aim properly like that. Natsume then begs our MC for help, screaming for him to do something. The MC starts muttering something under his breath about that monster. Checking out the chaotic scene, our boy grumbles that the boomerang shape is totally useless in a place like this. The monster pulls out some weapons, gearing up to attack at any second. Flying backward, Natsume tries to shield herself from that monstrosity's hits. The big monster pops up right behind Natsume, smirking and getting ready to strike. That hit was so heavy, Natsume goes flying until she smashes into the hall's wall. Still shaking from the impact, she drops to her knees on the floor, trying to catch her breath. The monster glares at her while slowly closing the distance. She tries to lift her bow and arrow, but she hasn't bounced back from the blow yet. Prepping its next strike, the monster is ready to finish Natsume off. At that exact moment, our MC jumps into action and rescues Natsume right before she gets hit. The girl freaks out seeing that the spot where the monster struck was completely wrecked. Keeping a dead serious look, our MC focuses on Natsume. He looks back and sees the monster creeping closer and closer to them. The kid chucks a knife straight at the beast, trying to slow it down, but the blade just bounces right off the monster's tough armor without leaving a single scratch. He grabs Natsume by the arm. Pulling her onto his back, he starts sprinting away from the beast. Natsume complains about why they're running away, while our MC just smirks. He simply tells her to chill out and trust him, because he's got a plan. Soon they rush past the gate, but the monster is still right on their tail. The beast crashes through the door as well, chasing them both down. Surprised, Natsume looks back, having zero clue what the MC's plan is. The monster actually smiles, believing it finally caught up to them. And this is where it gets good. The MC says if they're playing dirty, he knows the rules of the game too. Right after, the Iron Guardian lets out a deafening mechanical roar, but something pops out of nowhere and smacks the beast. Natsume is stunned seeing the monster get nailed by something. Trying to move, the monster realizes it's completely stuck. The kid casually says his plan works perfectly. Then he reveals he actually reactivated that trap from earlier. Winking, our boy says it's way more fun to give them a taste of their own medicine. The monster struggles to break free from the trap, but it's no use. It glares right at the MC and Natsume just standing there in front of it. The kid crouches down and sets Natsume safely on the floor. Suddenly, the monster extends its hands, charging up some kind of attack. Two energy beams shoot out from both of the beast's hands instantly. Spotting the strike, our MC immediately dodges out of the way. At the same time, Natsume also manages to dodge the blast. The duo regroups while both beams fly right past without touching them. Meanwhile, the old ghost starts laughing happily at the MC's fighting style. Prepping a second attack, the monster aims directly at both of them. The blast tears through the ground heading for the MC, destroying everything in its path. He dodges to the side and draws his dagger. Just as Natsume fires off an arrow, the arrow lands a dead center hit right in the giant's eye, while the dagger finishes the job, completely wrecking the monster's body. Both are super relieved they finally managed to take down the beast. Watching the MC have a blast, the old ghost just smiles. The kid smiles happily, stoked to have cleared the dungeon. Out of nowhere, a bright light spawns in the room. He looks over, having no idea what that was. Slowly, it reveals itself to be a seriously badass weapon. The MC gets hyped instantly, saying that drop is insanely rare, and his jester luck is finally paying out. Smiling, our boy realizes just how cracked that drop really is. Natsume stares at the drop in pure surprise, when suddenly a door spawns at the end of the hallway. She runs up to the door and opens it, revealing a brand new room. Popping open the chest inside, she hopes for some solid loot. Inside, she finds an apple. She looks super sad, seeing it's a completely useless item for her. Both of them start walking, ready to finally bounce from that place. Mentioning it was pretty fun, our MC says he enjoyed fighting right by her side. The memory of the previous battle pops into her head. With a sad face, Natsume says she didn't manage to hit her quota. He smiles, telling her to shake it off and just go have some fun. Surprised by the MC's idea, Natsume watches as he flashes a smile at her. The kid smiles, saying goodbye to Natsume. Deep in thought, Natsume stays quiet and unsure of what to reply. She speaks up, saying she doesn't need any of that stuff. Clenching her fists, she gets determined to grow even stronger. The blonde looks at the dungeon exit, deciding exactly what she needs to do. Cutting to the door of the corporation president's office, the scene shifts. Inside, the leader reads through the paperwork, confirming the quota was actually met. The suit demands Natsume passes the exploration team test for the new continent with 0 excuses, and she accepts the order, ordering her to keep an eye on our MC. The boss says he could be extremely useful for their plans. She keeps a firm stance and frowns, confirming she got the message loud and clear. Cutting to a massive open field, it reveals the location of the selection exam. In the middle of the crowd, our MC smiles excitedly, seeing the event finally kicked off. An examiner grabs the player's attention up on the stage, officially announcing the start of the trials. Standing around, the adventurers just listen to the examiner's speech. One of the players thinks to himself that nobody actually knows what's on this new continent. Filming everyone there, another adventurer was just walking around. Then the guy reveals they're only picking 10 adventurers who have max-level mind, body, and skills. The man details that the test will be split into 3 stages, covering a written exam, item gathering, and a mock battle. He gets totally surprised when the examiner tells them to pair up for the fights. Scrambling to find a partner, the MC runs around looking for a duo. To put on the pressure, the evaluator starts the 5-minute clock. Seeing the panic break out, our boy frowns, realizing just how big of a problem this is. The MC takes off running, desperately searching for someone to team up with. In the middle of the rush, he ends up crashing right into that exotic player. Jumping on the chance, our MC yells out, inviting the weirdo to complete his team. The guy scans the MC's panel, completely mind-blown that he actually picked the jester class. After that, the player just bolts, running off to find someone else. Our MC spots another person from a distance. He reaches out his hand, trying to grab the player's attention. The dude turns around, shoving a camera right in the MC's face. Then the guy just turns away, flat out saying he's not teaming up with the MC. The kid stands there confused, having no clue what was even going on. He looks all over the place but can't find a single other person. Out of nowhere, he hears someone call him and turns to see who it is. Natsume was just standing there, staring right at him. Approaching with a smile, our MC is pretty happy to see her again. The kid sighs, admitting he thought he wouldn't run into a familiar face out here. Casually, Natsume mentioned she was just running a bit late. Flashing a smile, our MC invites her to join up as a duo. She simply walks right past the MC, completely ignoring what he just said. He gets spooked by her attitude, not knowing if she actually agreed. She just stands there without showing any reaction. Telling the MC to follow her, she mentions the test is about to start. Kicking off the written exam, the sign pops up and everyone focuses on their desks to grind through the paper. Soon enough, our boy tenses up, having 0 clue what to answer. Gripping the pencil tight, our MC stops and tries to figure out his next move. In the next second, he tosses the pencil, relying purely on his luck to guess the right answers. A few hours fly by and the time to check the results finally arrives. Freaking out, our MC clasps his hands to pray and lets out a groan of agony while his partner crosses her arms in pure impatience. Keeping his eyes on the screen, the adventurer jumps for joy seeing the ranking and screams in relief that they barely passed. Natsume shoots a terrifying glare right at the MC, who just shrinks back. She asks the guy how they barely scraped by when she aced the whole thing herself. With a nervous laugh, our MC says the questions were pretty tricky. Then he tries apologizing to Natsume, who just can't understand how he missed the basic stuff. Everyone who passed gathers up right in front of the stage. From there, Natsume spots a duo standing way closer to the front. Remembering something, she realizes she's seen those two on the news before. Checking her phone, Natsume confirms the fame of the Crimson Blade duo that everyone is talking about. Seeing that duo took first place in the test leaves her completely surprised. Wearing a serious expression, Natsume firmly states they can't afford to slip up at all. Already inside the dungeon, the groups stand around listening to the rules for the next stage. Our MC and Natsume chill in the back, paying attention to the explanation. The main goal is to track down a specific orb hidden inside the dungeon. Pushing deeper into the zone, everyone starts hunting for the spheres. Splitting up, the duos all head off in completely different directions. Another pair shows up searching, but they haven't found a single thing yet. Out of nowhere, our MC and Natsume stumble upon an orb stuck right inside a wall. Flashing a smile, our boy points out they already found one. Natsume points down a different path in the dungeon to keep the search going. Having a blast on the way, our MC keeps pushing through the mission. Staring closely at the wall, he notices some weird cracks forming. He follows the fractures, seeing they lead somewhere specific. Pointing in the direction the cracks are heading, our MC tells Natsume to follow him. A little further ahead, Natsume looks up at something in pure surprise. She points at the ceiling where a giant orb is trapped tight. Gripping his dagger, our MC gets ready to throw it. At that exact moment, another duo crashes the scene. It was the rank 1 duo, showing up looking for the exact same sphere. Stepping up, they claim that orb belongs to them. Natsume just smirks while the MC looks at her, fully ready to chuck his dagger. The blade hits dead center, shattering the barrier and knocking the orb down. Catching the sphere right in her hand leaves Natsume completely surprised. Hyped by the quick play, the MC lets out a victory shout, confirming their second target is already secured, letting her know they only need one more. Our MC smiles as Natsume holds the jewel, mentioning they still have plenty of time. Cutting to another corner of the cave, the screen shows the duo of Kyosuke and Kippe walking through the dark maze. Kippe was fuming that he got stuck with Kyosuke, wishing he had teamed up with someone way stronger. A weird blob floats their way, and the short guy casually wonders if it's just another weak mob. But right after, the creature unleashes a bizarre electric shock, completely frying Kippe, who screams and shakes, taking non-stop damage. Filming the disaster, Kyosuke laughs, thinking the whole scene looks sick, and boldly asks if he needs a hand. With a heavy sigh, Kyosuke steps in to help his partner out. Dashing forward with everything he's got, he crushes the glowing slime against the wall using his heavy shield, solving the problem with brute force. Dropping to his knees out of breath, Kippe sighs in relief that he's still breathing and thanks him for the save. Giving a mocking wink, Kyosuke smiles and admits he wanted to record a little more of that scene. To make things worse, he casually mentions Kippe almost bit the dust. Changing the subject, Kyosuke looks at the ground, complaining they haven't found a single mission jewel so far. Looking at the only colored spears they grabbed early on, Kippe mutters there has to be a faster way to collect more. Agreeing with the thought, Kyosuke admits he's completely lost in the maze and keeps it real, warning they'll get eliminated if they keep this pace. Stopping his feet and rolling on the floor, Kippe throws a fit, screaming there's no way he's losing and swears he's making that exploration team. Stopping his tantrum, he shoots a serious glare, stating that if things are this bad, they need to make a real move. Kyosuke looks down, waiting for Kippe to drop the order. Facing the back of the room, they lock in on their brand new plan to secure those orbs. Flashing an evil grin, Kyosuke gives a thumbs up, confirming he's fully on board with the scheme. Meanwhile, on the other side of the dungeon, our MC and Natsume keep strolling down the stone hall, having no clue they just became targets for the evil duo. Out of nowhere, our MC hears a desperate scream echoing through the dungeon. Startled by the yelling, he warns his partner about the call for help. Arriving at the spot, they find the big guy surrounded by 3 slime monsters, taking a shower of sparks and screaming in pain. Seeing how bad it looks, the rookie figures things are sketchy and tells Natsume to jump in for a quick rescue. Without a second thought, the MC dashes through the air, delivering a clean sword strike right at the flying creature. Right behind him, Natsume draws her bow with full force and fires a perfect shot to clear off the rest of the danger. Once the beasts are down, the guy collapses panting, thanking them for the save and making up an excuse about dropping his guard. Playing it cool, the MC says it's a good thing they showed up in time. But right at that moment, the masked shorty sneaks out from the shadows, creeping up right behind the duo. With a wicked glare locked on the target, Kippei decides the perfect moment to strike is finally here. In the blink of an eye, the scumbag dashes right between them, tearing through the air and leaving the duo completely lost by his speed. Snatching both orbs right out of their hands, Kippei makes his move. The system screen lights up, revealing the quick theft magic that lets the user steal anything they've seen the enemy holding. Jumping for joy, Kippei holds both orbs tight in his hands. Natsume melts out, realizing they just got robbed blind. Using a heavy tackle, Kyosuke shoves the duo straight into the pit. Caught completely off guard by the cheap shot, the duo tumbles down the hole, hitting the bottom of the cave. The two look up furious, hearing the short guy praise his teammate's brute strength. Laughing with a cynical face, the shorty looks down, mocking how easily they fell for the trick since he was just waiting for suckers to show up. Turning their backs, the evil duo walks proudly along the edge of the abyss, with the leaders celebrating they finally hit the 3 magic stones quota. Clicking her tongue, Natsume grumbles in frustration, admitting she never thought these guys would stoop to using a steal skill. Right after, our MC points out that if things stay like this, they're definitely getting kicked out of a test. Grabbing the ledge, the MC firmly pulls his partner up by the hand, thanking her for the effort. Once they're back up, he warns her the clock is ticking and tells them to sprint after the cheaters as fast as possible. Keeping the momentum, Natsume takes off running after the 2 scumbags. Except halfway there, the MC freezes up and stops suddenly after hearing something. Instantly, he throws his arm out, stopping Natsume from taking another step. Spooked by the sudden break, Natsume mutters in shock, asking what happened to make him act like that out of nowhere. Just ahead, the scumbag duo is shown completely beaten down. Shaking and sweating cold, the shorty begs for help, saying the beasts spawned out of thin air. Right in front of them, a crystal golem stands tall with one of the orbs stuck right in its chest. Showing zero mercy, Natsume frowns and straight up asks if they think they're smart, trying to trick people for another sneak attack. Desperate, the shorty cries heavy tears, pleading that this time they're being serious and it's not a setup at all. Watching the drama, the memories of the fake SOS from earlier hit hard, weighing on the conscience of whoever almost died because of it. Remembering the duo's cynical smile from before, the short guy cries for his partner who was laid out on the floor, yelling it isn't a trap. Kippei begs the duo to just believe him. Surprising everyone, our MC steps forward, saying he'd rather get tricked again than stand by and watch the worst happen. He looks at his partner, politely asking her to give the benefit of the doubt to the duo crashed on the floor. Already drawing his dagger, our MC gears up to attack. With a heavy sigh, Natsume gives in, saying she'll help them out, pulling her bow while the MC raises his blade. The shorty stands up, shaking, muttering that the MC actually wanted to give them a chance even after that betrayal. Smiling, our MC is ready to throw down and have some fun. Amazed, the short guy is left speechless, staring at his new partner, only managing to comment that the whole thing was super badass. The MC throws his dagger at the golem, hitting the orb right in its chest. Kippei screams for the MC to watch his back. Our boy just smiles, reaching his hand out. He pulls out the rapier he scored in the last dungeon. Then a system notification pops up, showing the rapier's special skill just activated. Rushing in, our MC charges with the rapier in hand. The system notes the weapon's effect boosts damage against inorganic creatures. Natsume readies her bow, fully prepped to fire an arrow. The arrows go flying, but the golem dodges every single one. While dodging, the golem completely misses the MC closing in. Striking with the rapier, the MC pierces right through the golem. The monster screams in pure agony, feeling the hit. Jumping away, the golem regroups with the other one that was just watching. The second monster swings at the MC, who dodges and sprints off. After the dodge, the second monster sneaks up from behind, ready to strike the MC. Our boy spots the hit coming, getting inches away from his face. But at the very last second, the shorty grabs the golem, stopping it from reaching the MC. The short guy smiles, seeing he managed to help the person who actually believed in him. Flashing a wide grin, our MC is glad the shorty stepped up to help. Our boy lends up another strike on the golem being held back. Hearing something coming from behind, the MC turns to check it out. Behind him, the other golem tries to attack, but Kyosuke steps in and blocks the hit. He smiles, thanking them for trusting and helping out. Taking a step forward, the MC gets ready for one more strike. Our boy lands the head on the monster, hitting so hard it launches the beast backward. Thanks to that blow, the monster gets split right in two and is defeated. Smiling, our MC reaches out his hand, thanking them for the backup. The shorty starts crying, begging the MC for forgiveness. Everyone looks at him with secondhand embarrassment, while the shorty clings tight to the MC's leg. Natsume just looks over and says she's had enough of this mess. Turning to the side, she spots the orb resting on the ground right next to her. She picks the orb up, proving they managed to secure another one. Showing the orb to the MC, he looks at it thoughtfully and says that's exactly what they were looking for. With all 3 spheres floating there, they finally cleared the objective. Super happy, Natsume smiles with wide eyes, saying she can't believe they managed to grab them all in one go. Sweating in relief, our boy lets out a shaky sigh of joy, warning that time is almost up and telling everyone to hustle back to the meeting point. At the cave entrance, they bump into the written exam evaluator, watching the players barely finish the mission in time. Grabbing the megaphone, the examiner loudly announces that the 12 duos who returned with all 3 magic spheres passed the gathering test. Instantly clearing the way, he declares the winners can move on to the next stage, which is the mock battle. Just then, a player notices a girl crying all alone in the corner and asks the crowd what's going on with her. A flashback from the player reveals something terrible happened to her partner. A hand gently touches her shoulder, trying to comfort her. The rank 1 duo walks up and tries to console the girl. Staring blankly, she's stuck thinking about what happened to her teammate. The player's hand was completely covered in fresh blood. In a flashback, it's revealed the girl's partner got taken out by another player. The top-ranked guy shows up smiling, hiding his bloody hand from view. A bright light flashes across the sky. Everyone who cleared the second stage just stands there, waiting for the next phase. Stepping up, the examiner starts explaining how this next round is going to work. Our MC, along with the rest of the players, listens closely to the rules. Then the examiner raises a finger, asking who wants to claim the number 1 spot. The screen quickly displays the boss locations. Announcing the final exam, he tells the teams to gear up for the biggest challenge yet. Clenching his fists, he declares that in the new continent, strength is the only thing that matters. Natsume starts sweating cold, just imagining how brutal the new continent is going to be. Meanwhile, the MC locks eyes with the number 1 duo. He notices the guy's sword is completely stained with blood. From a distance, our boy wonders where that came from. All the duos gather right in the middle of the hall. Walking slowly, the top duo tries to take control of the whole situation. Other pairs start arguing about the best route to conquer the dungeon. Natsume watches the other players cooking up their strategies. She turns to the MC, calling him over so they can set up a game plan too. Natsume is left completely stunned, seeing the MC standing with his hand raised, ready to team up with the number 1 duo. Our MC accepts the alliance. With a serious look, he mentions he was actually curious about their duo. The leader smiles, thanking him for the trust. The 4 of them push forward until they run straight into the Forza monster. Analyzing the beast, the leader points out it looks tough, but it's nothing they can't handle. Wasting no time, the female player charges at the Forza, swinging her weapon hard. She glares at the beast as it tries to dodge the strike. The giant hammer starts crackling with lightning. Even trying to dodge, the hammer's magic makes sure the attack lands perfectly. Forza groans in pain, realizing it just took a heavy hit. Right then, the leader slices the Forza clean in 2 with his sword. He complains the monster was way too weak and couldn't even put up a fight. Our MC sweats cold seeing just how cracked those 2 are. Natsume smiles, praising how OP they both are. And that's where it gets crazy. With just a quick glance between the duo, our MC instantly goes on high alert, sensing a heavy killing intent. Surprised by the sudden shift, Natsume is in shock at how the duo changed. In one fast motion, our MC gets attacked, but he manages to block the strike using his rapier. The guy smirks, saying he actually thought the MC was weak. Our boy tenses up, still holding back the heavy blow. Natsume is still frozen, having no clue what is even going down. The other girl smiles, finding this whole setup super entertaining. The MC figures out the victims from the last test where they're doing and asks what the joke is in doing that. Reaching his hand out, the villain asks the MC what the real fun is in just hunting monsters all day. Flashing a wicked smile, the girl points out that unlike beasts, humans actually feel fear and beg for their lives. She blushes, feeling completely twisted and thrilled by the whole thing. Holding his hand open, the guy warns that the new continent is going to be just as dangerous. Gripping his sword, he wraps up by saying that in that world, they can play around however they want. Furious at that sick excuse, our MC frowns hard. The MC demands to know who they think they are, stealing people's futures like that. Boiling with rage, our boy yells that he's going to teach them a lesson. Then he remembers the talks he had with the old ghost. The old guy is surprised seeing the MC this ticked off, but he smiles right after, seeing someone is actually carrying his legacy. legacy. Our MC preps his skill in his hand, ready to start the show. He touches the enemy's sword, making his magic glow super bright. The guy smirks, seeing the MC is actually taking this seriously. With a determined look, our boy squares up to fight. The exchange of blows borders on insanity, with neither side backing down even an inch. Keeping his stance, the knight drops a side smirk, praising the MC's technique. Cranking up his strength, the enemy manages to knock the MC backward. He goes flying until he smashes right into the wall behind him. Soon after, another strike comes in fast using the tip of the blade. Our boy's eyes go wide as he tries to dodge the incoming attack. The dude smiles, claiming a copy can never beat the real deal. Our MC pans heavily after taking that hit. Right then, the crazy hammer girl stomps her foot hard on Natsume's chest. Then she lets out a bizarre laugh, mocking Natsume and asking sarcastically if that hurt. Confident in his victory, the enemy shows off a proud face, straight up telling them they're both losing their lives right there. Smiling cynically, the villain glares at our MC and challenges him, waiting to see what his next move is gonna be. Our boy grits his teeth, not knowing how to get out of this mess. Hiding nearby, the shorty and Kyosuke watch the whole scene unfold from a distance. They reveal they sensed something sketchy and followed the MC just in case he needed backup. Kyosuke notes nervously that besides being strong, those two have zero fear of killing. Terrified, the shorty cries that he wants to help, but they definitely get killed since the power gap is massive. He quickly asks his bro if they should just bounce from there. Turning his back, the shorty apologizes for running away and says he'll visit their graves. But our MC lifts his head with pure determination, warning he's gonna speak his mind while he still has time. Full of rage, the kid tells the sick duo to stop playing around, threatening to tell the examiners everything to ruin them. Laughing at the situation, the guy says even if they made it out alive, that would never work. Opening his hand, he keeps going, saying it'd just be the MC's word against their massive fame. Never dropping the act, he finishes his point by bluntly asking who the world is actually gonna believe at the end of the day. From afar, Kyosuke freezes in place with wide eyes, feeling the weight of those words hit deep in his own mind. Overcome with disgust, he grumbles in anger, finally seeing the dirty nature of the enemy right in front of him. He shares that back in the day, he used to be a pro wrestler, and in one of his matches, he landed a perfect strike to win the bout. Except the guy he beat accused him of fighting dirty. Facing all the hate comments calling him a cheater, he laments that nobody believed his side of the story, forcing him to retire from the sport. Angry about the injustice, he decided to say screw it and started a channel posting random videos. He confesses he only became an explorer to farm content, and the trick to the new map was purely for the views. Clenching his fist, he reveals he planned to spend his whole life pretending to be a shallow guy, but seeing that cowardice in the maze changed something inside him. Snapping back to the present, he admits with pure rage in his eyes that cowards like them make his blood boil instantly. He steps forward firmly, surprising the shorty, who asks with a shaky voice, "What's up with that sudden change of heart?" The enemy kicks the MC while he's down on the ground. With the blade inches from his face, our boy stares straight ahead without blinking. Raising the sword to prep the attack, the guy gets ready to finish the MC off. But suddenly, something grabs his attention and he stops the strike. He turns around fast to see who called him out, and spots Kyosuke holding up his camera recording the whole scene. The crazy dude frowns in rage, watching his plan fall apart. Then the shorty fakes some courage and asks who people are gonna believe now. He gulps hard, trying his best not to run away in pure fear. He confidently says that if they want to kill the MC, they gotta go through them first. The MC smiles, seeing his comrade stepping up to help. The duo gets pissed, asking who the heck they think they're messing with. But the sadist loses her patience quicker and charges in, calling the squad a bunch of insolent bugs. She attacks Kyosuke, who pulls up his shield to block the heavy hit. He just smiles while holding back the enemy's strike. The sadist grumbles, totally confused about how he tanked her blow. Then Natsume gets up, already thanking them for the save. She readies her bow, fully prepped to launch her attack, explaining that using the bow's max power takes a while. She mentions she needs time to charge the shot. She shoots a side glance at Kiboe to see if he can buy them some time. With a confident smirk, the shorty activates a magic low in his hands, signaling he got the plan. Wasting no time, the short guy throws something and yells for everyone to brace for what's coming. Instantly, an explosion goes off, kicking up a massive smoke screen in the room. Taking advantage of the chaos, our MC manages to break free. Meanwhile, Kyosuke keeps tanking the sadist's heavy blows. Natsume finally finishes charging her arrow and gets ready to fire. In the next split second, the massive projectile flies across the room at crazy speed. Hitting the sadist dead on, she screams as the pain tears through her body. Another arrow is fired, aiming straight for the sadist's partner. With a quick move, he manages to dodge the incoming strike. But in that exact moment, he realizes his sword is completely gone. The shorty smirks, seeing his skill worked flawlessly, and he snatched the blade, throwing the sword far away right after grabbing it, where our MC catches it perfectly midair. Boiling with energy, the MC grips the heavy blade with both hands, and overflowing with a magic aura. He activates his skill. Instantly, the giant raw sword reacts to the kid's power, shrinking and glowing until it turns into a slim, elegant blade. Our boy looks at the blade sadly, thinking about how beautiful the sword is, but noting it was stained by evil intentions. He charges forward, heading straight for the enemy ready to strike. Completely panicking, the guy backs up in a cold sweat, desperately begging the MC not to come any closer. Ignoring him, our MC steps up and slices the air, landing a brutal hit that makes the coward scream in pain. With a deadly glare, the MC stares down his rival, warning that his dirty tricks from the past are unforgivable. With the enemy knocked out cold, the MC stabs the sword into the ground, proving the killing ends right here. The squad walks away victorious, saying they're taking the evidence to report the twisted duo. After surviving all that mess, they keep pushing to the exam. Next up, they face the dungeon's other boss, fighting together with combo attacks until they finally bring the beast down. Once the fight wraps up, the examiner pops up on the screen announcing the 10 players who passed and telling the crew to prep for the new continent. Relieved by the results, they cheer in pure joy for making the cut. Smiling, the MC reaches out to shake his partner's hand. Natsume stares at his hand with a sad look in her eyes, but she ends up shaking it anyway while the MC stands there grinning. Back in the boss's office, Natsume reports everything that went down in the dungeon. The leader mentions the MC can become a super valuable asset for their group. Holding his hand out, he orders Natsume to take on the job of controlling the MC. He hands her a creepy doll that has the power to turn anyone into a puppet. Natsume is left completely stunned by the whole thing. The boss claims that to reach their grand goal, sometimes they gotta get their hands dirty. Backed into a corner, Natsume clenches her fist and accepts the Dark Order with a cold nod of obedience. A few days later, inside a building that looked more like an item market, a ton of people are hanging around buying or selling gear for missions. Our MC walks through, checking the place out and thinking the whole vibe is surreal. Soon, a voice catches Natsume's attention, and she walks over to a table. Our boy turns around, noticing Natsume wandered off. In the back, Natsume was actually crying over getting scammed by a vendor. She's all teary-eyed, realizing she got totally played. She tells the MC she spotted something super interesting, a pristine cape specifically made for snipers. Flashing a friendly smile, the merchant explains all the cape's perks in detail and drops the price. Natsume thought the price was a steal given the product's quality and stats, and without a second thought, she bought the cape right on the spot. Smiling and thinking she scored an amazing deal, she rushes to check her inventory for the gear, but what she finds is a completely trashed item that wasn't even worth a tenth of what she paid. Realizing she got scammed hard, she looks up to complain to the vendor, but the guy had already vanished into thin air. With his hand on his head, the kid swears the scammer swapped the goods the second she looked away. Right when he grabbed the cash, he switched the items. Sobbing, the sniper clutches the trash cape to her chest, crying her eyes out because she spent everything she had. Our boy tells her to chill out, saying he's going to handle it. Natsume looks at him, having no idea what he's planning to do. Smiling, our MC says he's got a solid plan. He glances at the old ghost, who smiles back, while Natsume is just standing there confused. The market was popping off, with crazy relics for sale everywhere. The scammer merchant suddenly gets his attention called. Our MC walks up, saying he wants to sell an item, but isn't sure how much it's worth. The merchant smiles wide, offering to appraise the product for him, falling right into the MC's trap. The kid pulls out a sword and hands it over for the merchant to check out. Instantly, his eyes go wide in pure shock seeing the item. A flawless golden sword, already calculating how insanely valuable it is. Our boy acts all clueless, saying he really doesn't know the item's worth. The merchant just smiles, already dreaming about snatching a high-tier item for almost nothing. He points at some random loot, telling the MC to pick something for a trade. The kid smiles, pretending to be super hyped seeing so many cool items. Then he points right at the cape, picking that exact piece. He even manages to grab a few extra items in exchange for the sword, on top of securing a jewel along with the deal. Sealing the trade, the merchant smirks, thinking he successfully played the MC, thinking about how dumb the MC was for trading such a cracked item, already dreaming of the massive profit. Suddenly, the sword starts shaking, reverting back to its original form of a completely trashed cape. The merchant freaks out, seeing the item transform out of nowhere. Then, this system chimes in, showing the level 1 bluff skill instantly alters the target's perception. Our MC smiles, celebrating with the old ghost that his master plan actually worked. Boiling with rage, the scammer turns his head and throws a sarcastic congratulations at the MC. Then an angry Natsume calls the guy out, bringing up his talk about the item being super valuable, and the coward shakes in fear recognizing her. Even the ghost clowns the merchant, while the MC mentions that if you keep scamming people, eventually you get scammed back. Frustrated, the merchant checks the system, admitting he got clowned, and asks what the heck kind of skill that even was. Reading the MC's profile, he realizes his class is actually Jester. Confused, the MC wonders how this guy even knew about that hidden class. Sighing in defeat, the scammer admits it makes total sense he fell for the trap, since the rookie holds one of the legendary hidden classes. With a dead serious look, the guy keeps it real, explaining their class got cut before launch and was never supposed to make it into the system. Suspicious, the MC asks what he's talking about, and the merchant explains he actually tested the beta version. Thinking back, he explains the beta had a ton of content that got trashed, including those legendary classes and a bunch of secret dungeons. Pulling up the dark map, he points out that even this famous new continent everyone is hyping up looks exactly like one of the deleted zones. Intrigued, our boy smiles, trying to figure out why a scrapped map would randomly spawn, and the guy suggests the answer is definitely over there. Changing the tone, the merchant asks if the duo is really set on traveling to explore that dangerous spot. Flashing a slight smile, the merchant admits he figured as much, noting a legendary jester is the perfect piece to survive in a crazy place like that. Apologizing for the mess, the merchant hands Natsume her money back. Waving with his back turned, the merchant tells the duo to stay safe out there. With a smile on his face, our MC thanks him for the heads up and swears he plans to enjoy every single second of that trip. And just like that, the big day to leave for the new continent finally arrives, kicking off the journey on the ship. Unknown lands always mess with people's hearts, and even with the world in total chaos now, curiosity speaks way louder. But those who got their awakening as players couldn't fight the massive pull toward that mystery zone. Enjoying the view, our boy thinks that no matter what dangers are waiting, he wants to see this new world with his own eyes. The guild boss analyzes the holomap, guessing there's gotta be a ton of untouched land and unseen resources on the new continent. With his eyes shining, our MC gears up to explore that unknown world. With a sinister glare, the greedy leader swears everything of value will fall under their control, taking full advantage of the perfect setup. Reaching his hand up to the sky, our boy starts talking about what he wants the most. Clenching his fist tight, the boss also starts dictating his crew's ambitions. Our boy finishes by claiming he wants to enjoy everything to the max, while the suit swears he's gonna dominate and exploit the place. Watching the sunset through the window, our hero mentions they should be arriving soon, and admits he feels a really weird vibe in the air. Right behind him, Natsume grips the creepy doll and agrees, saying it feels like they've been fighting for years, but the real mission is just starting. Staring at the terrifying toy, his partner mutters nervously that the second they reach their destination, she's finally making her move. But out of nowhere, our MC gets a massive jump scare and snaps his head back, feeling an imminent danger just erupted nearby. Instantly, a sailor runs and screaming in pure panic that something went horribly wrong. Completely freaking out, the crewmate yells at the top of his lungs that giant monsters started attacking the transport with zero mercy. A massive tail smashes through the glass, launching the man away, and our MC reaches out, screaming for him in the middle of the chaos. Frozen in place, our MC's eyes go wide and he sweats cold, realizing the sheer size of the deadly threat that just swallowed their trip. And no one saw that coming. A colossal sea serpent spawns, kicking off the expedition to the new continent. So, if you want part 2, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and leave some hype in the comments. Our MC comes face to face with a colossal monster rising from the water. He instantly realizes it's an abyss serpent and they're in huge trouble. Exploding out of the water, the creature shows off its purple scales, making it crystal clear. The danger is way worse than he thought. Beside this beast's crushing pressure, the warship looks like a cheap toy, and it has no plans of backing down. Panicking from the ambush, the MC's crew loses it as they grasp how bad this really is. The mages step up to the front lines ready to strike, wanting to prove their worth and find the monster's weak spot. As the magic charges up, pure dread fills the air. Glowing red eyes pierce through the dark. It charges forward with everything it has. The crew barely has time to react before the beast grabs one of the guys by the leg. That crash creates a massive shockwave. After the hit, the guy's book just floats to the surface. Spooked by the beast's speed, the two lookouts just freeze, trying to process how that's even possible. Catching onto the trap, the MC tells everyone to stay sharp so they don't lose any more allies to this enemy. The squad holds their ground on the wrecked deck, with the archer watching the shadows up front. In the blink of an eye, the serpent pops out roaring loud, flexing its purple scales and intimidating fins. Rushing in without a second thought, the MC goes for a desperate attack, yelling as he tries to break that defense. His blade strikes the beast's neck and lands a deep cut, making the monster roar in pain from the surprise. Under the sunset, the serpent dodges, and the MC curses the terrible disadvantage of fighting in the open sea. Suddenly, everything starts shaking. Giant waves rock the ship hard, proving that ocean battles are way more stressful than they looked. In the middle of the chaos, a teammate yells out asking what's going on, while the MC tries to figure out the external attack. He watches in horror as the ship gets pierced, realizing the whole vessel is going to be scrap metal real soon. The crewmate has a meltdown seeing the boat go down, panicking because he doesn't know how to swim. Brutal hits smash into the hull, making the whole structure tremble and signaling the end of the line for the ship. Losing his cool, the guy starts cursing the beast out, calling it a coward as everything sinks to the bottom. Furious, the ally yells at the ocean, begging the monster for a fight right as the ship finally goes under. Figuring out these beasts love noise, the MC realizes he's got the perfect trump card to bait it. He pulls out the thunder-devouring bull's horn, a legendary item that makes a sound so loud it's bound to distract the creature. Taking a deep breath, our guy brings the horn to his lips. Upon blowing it, a massive electric shockwave bursts out, creating a golden blast. The energy spreads wide, warping the air so hard it actually vibrates from the pressure. Holding the gear, the MC notices the sound is definitely enough to drag the creature out of hiding. Prepped for the ambush, he commands the squad to get ready to strike the second the beast shows up. Deep down below, a pair of red eyes glows bright. The beast took the bait. With a roar that shakes the ocean, the serpent emerges, exposing its massive body and terrifying purple scales. Seizing the chance, our guy gives the signal and the crew goes all out. Energy blasts hit the scales, setting off a blinding flash that swallows the entire battlefield. Furious, the serpent lets out a deafening roar. Against the shockwave, Anicap blocks with his shield while the MC looks for a window to avoid getting crushed. Finally, the immediate danger fades and the squad celebrates their survival with a huge sigh of relief. The system pops up saying our guy hit level 25 and unlocked the God Dice skill. Beaming, the MC stares at the floating screen with a smirk, trying to figure out this new power spike. Suddenly he notices something weird, feeling like he's tipping over. The reason for that is the ship is straight up capsizing. They all get tossed right overboard. Yelling in panic, Aniki gets launched into the air. Our MC freaks out seeing the Jika fall, screaming her name through the chaos. Under the water, he feels himself fading out. Their hands brush against each other, bringing a tiny bit of peace in the middle of the mess. The ship is completely flipped upside down. Then the scenery shifts to a night lake under a full moon, with the sound of a crash echoing around. Our guy mumbles, starting to get his senses back after all that struggle. Dazed, our MC wakes up in a weird place, head pounding, and zero clue where he is. Pure panic hits when he spots Nijika lying there completely still after the crash. Worried sick, Aniki tries to wake the girl up, begging her not to leave them. Realizing it's just the three of them left, our MC loses it, unable to believe nobody else is in this empty place. He remembers the leader, trying to sort out the mess, ordering the squad to scout the map and aim for peaceful contact with locals. Focused on the mission, the leader taps the holographic console, insisting they need to gather data. Cutting through the doubt, he reminds everyone they gotta keep moving, taking charge of who's left. Out of nowhere, some sketchy dude steps from the shadows, calmly asking if they're okay. Holding a lantern, the old man walks up, offering to help them figure out what's going on. The crew accepts, and he guides them to a rustic tavern lit up by floating sky lanterns. Safely inside, the elder looks at our MC and mentions that crossing the sea must have been a total nightmare. With full stomachs and the danger seemingly gone, they thank him for being surprisingly nice in this weird place. Checking out the tavern, our MC jokes that it looks like a video game set. Nijika and him dive into the exotic food, blown away by how unique everything tastes. He tells them the feast is made of moonbirds and mushrooms, inviting the squad for a village tour tomorrow. Our guy gets hyped, while the elder lets out a sketchy laugh, promising a trip they won't forget. Feeling super drowsy, Nijika realizes those mushrooms are having a very suspicious effect. Fighting the sleepiness, she admits the exhaustion and the big meal knocked her out. Without warning, the whole squad passes out on the table from the food. A guy in dark clothes drops his act, explaining they walked right into a trap. Those mushrooms were a heavy sedative. With a twisted smirk, the man makes an elegant gesture, like he's sealing their fate, while the group is completely helpless. And that's where it gets crazy. The guy announces the ritual is starting as this sinister aura takes over the room. Bossing them around, he orders his goons to drag the knocked-out crew to the sacrificial altar. Our MC wakes up in a creepy spot, coming face to face with a colossal stone gargoyle. Still dizzy from getting captured, he tries to piece together what happened. Looking around, the kid's eyes go wide, questioning if those monstrous statues are actually real. That gargoyle, covered in rustic necklaces, flashes a beastly smile that sends chills down her spine. Desperate, our MC tries to wake up Aniki and Nijika, who are still tied up on the floor. He realizes they were knocked out on purpose just to get kidnapped. The old man steps out of the shadows laughing, mocking them for falling right into his trap. Mocking the squad, members of the Holy Order of Domark show up, clowning them for eating that snack. The elder holds up the mushroom that caused it all, explaining it's used exactly to knock victims out cold. Realizing how dumb they were, our MC demands to know where they got dragged to. Those scumbags break the silence, warning that their master is starving and waiting for his meal. He points out they're gonna be the offering to Lord Domark, right under the gargoyle's creepy stare. Our guy asks how they could worship something so dangerous, only to hear that Lord Domark keeps them safe. With a swift punch to the MC's face, the servant calls it a necessary sacrifice, shutting down the conversation. Hurting from the hit, our boy feels nothing but disgust for these pathetic people, humiliating themselves for a monster. Aniki complains about dealing with fanatics, and the little guy panics, claiming he's way too skinny to be food. Furious, Nijika questions this absurd cycle of sacrifices, but the order fires back, saying it's the only way to keep the peace. He flashes back to the past, remembering how he was overworked and exploited by clueless bosses. That insane workload felt like a prison, where abuse was just branded as dedication. Smiling like a manipulator, the supervisor forced the MC to serve the team while bleeding him dry. Broken by the pressure, he'd just keep his head down and say, yes, trying to survive the stress of that nightmare. Silently, our MC watches everything with empty eyes, digesting this forced reality. Cornered, the enemy group orders him to give up, claiming there's no way out. Under pressure, one guy looks down at his hands, wondering what his next move is. Surrounded by memories, he grips a mysterious girl's locket and debates if he should really go through with this. Our MC spots him, cutting off his thoughts to ask who he is. Suspiciously, Michiko watches the kid while he, even tied up, visualizes his special skill to flip the script. The ritual kicks off, the vibe gets heavy, and the shadows prep for the sacrifice. Flashing a sadistic smile, a cult member announces the purge is about to start. Followers throw their hands up, praising their leader in a fanatic choir that makes the air shake. And just like that, everything changed. A fanatic declares our MC is going to be the ritual feast for Lord Damard. Hanging there, Aniki complains the execution is super tacky, saying if he's gonna go out, it should be with style. One cult member stands out with his pendant, looking super anxious. Scanning the crowd in white, our MC recognizes the kid's face. Risking it all, he focuses magic energy into his hand. Our MC uses the distraction to pop his level 1 bluff skill, messing with their heads and bending reality. They completely lose their minds at what they're seeing. Suddenly, Namia appears floating in the air, revealing she was the sacrifice girl. Namia looks at Alan disappointed and confused, wanting to know why all of this is happening. Regretful and panicking, Alan begs for forgiveness and takes the blame. Getting tired of the drama, the Order members decide to just end the sacrifice right then and there. Someone uses the silence to ask what the real deal is between the guy and Namia. He spills everything. Him and Namia used to serve in the town guard together during better times. Later, an unknown threat rolled in, bringing electricity and terror that shattered the village's daily life. That danger was impossible to beat, so they agreed to a brutal deal, blood in exchange for survival. With zero options, the locals took the terms just to stay alive. This memory proves it wasn't a choice, but a tragedy that scarred Alan and Namia for life. Chosen for the sacrifice, Namia carried the weight of the entire village's future. Namia accepted her fate with a smile, telling Alan her surrender would save everyone from the fear. She kept saying the sacrifice had to happen and there was no other way to save so many people. Staring into nothing, Alan cries, remembering his hand reaching for Namia, trapped in the guilt of not changing that ending. Namia's face captures the exact moment that sinister force hit her, trying to erase her completely. Down her face, tears fall, reflecting the pure pain of that final goodbye. Crushed by guilt, Alan confesses his life lost all meaning and he became a monster, kidnapping people for the cult. Realizing he talked too much, he admits this secret is a burden he carries all by himself. Alan sees he exposed himself and tries to change the subject before things get worse. Dropping the drama, our MC focuses on what matters, taking down Lord Delmark. He panics, saying the enemy is way too OP and one mistake will cost them everything. Aniki doesn't even care, claiming they'll handle it, leaving the danger only for those who don't get how this world works. Nijika looks over at our MC, totally backing the idea up. Disbelievingly, Alan asks why our guy would risk so much for total strangers. With a smirk, our MC fires back that Alan is just mad because he's not having fun with the situation. Alan freezes, furious that the MC is using the word fun in a life-or-death scenario. Switching scenes, we see Alan walking with Namiya, both of them super chill. The girl laughs, looking like she's really enjoying the laid-back chat with him. Surprised by his comment, he smiles, admitting he never really looked at things from that angle. He holds his hand out to the other guy, sealing a deal to team up. Our boy promises the squad this plan is the ultimate chance to stop being the Order's lapdogs. That offer makes things weird, with everyone trading tense looks over how bold it is. Following the speech, Alan trusts the future depends on this shift and they need to take the wheel. The Elder gets the message and confirms the crew is all in on this mission. Right on cue, the system drops a notification that the goal now is to eliminate Domark, the cult leader. And no one saw that coming. Our MC drops a bomb. Domar wasn't even in the game's original code, so nobody knows what to expect. Aware of the threat, our MC stays cool and figures this is going to be a massive grind. At night, the fortress lights shine bright, inviting the squad for the final showdown. Arriving there, their beast lands hard, kicking off the raid. From the shadows, the monster steps out, flexing its horns and red eyes. The squad checks the distance under the moon, wondering if that glow up ahead is where the brawl goes down. He points to the mountain slope and explains that's the creature's feeding ground. They realize the beast doesn't eat humans for survival, but out of pure sadism, since it doesn't even need meat. Disbelievingly, Nijika stares at the guy, trying to wrap her head around the creature's twisted logic. Confirming everyone's worst fear, the beast shows off remains on the ground, proving its taste for human flesh. The little girl, terrified by the sight, stammers a shaky greeting while trying to process the danger. Moving with cracked agility, the demonic gargoyle makes it clear its claws will turn anyone into ground beef in a flash. The damage is obvious. Not even the most veteran guards could hold back Domark's rage, leaving the place wrecked. It's a bloodbath. Out of 30 guards, only 4 made it out alive. Panic sets in for the survivors, seeing only 4 souls left after the chaos. For this beast, the bodies on the floor were just an appetizer for its craving for destruction. With blood on its jaw, the gargoyle demands tastier hostages, threatening to wipe out everyone if they don't listen. Footsteps echo in the dark, damp room, signaling the tension just leveled up. Arriving on the scene, the MC stares at the gloomy spot while his teammate watches everything dead serious. The Elder nervously warns that Domark is about to drop in, since the Lord always collects from his followers at dawn. Anxious, the old man asks if the MC is absolutely sure he can handle this boss. He ignores the fear, fully trusting the plan to turn Domark's zone into a literal minefield. Alan and the Elder freeze, seeing the little girl show up giggling, clearly scheming something. She whips out a grenade, proving she's built different and ready for anything. One cult member doubts the MC, but gets instantly clowned when he finds out the kid can craft grenades on an industrial scale. Stepping up, Aniki announces he's going to use his mechanical arm as a cannon to spam attacks. Even against a colossal beast, the MC guarantees no fast target is dodging a barrage of explosions. The Order's Elder realizes he lost control and tries to make a move against our guy, waiting for the right moment to turn the tables. The MC knows he just needs one tiny opening. Our boy spots a flaw in Domark's defense, realizing one slip-up is all it takes for the plan to work. She steps up to the front, deciding to play bait to force the enemy to drop its guard. Shocked, the MC snaps back that it's suicide and the risk is way too high. Stubbornly, Nichika brushes off the protests, swearing she'll be fine with the Gale Mantle boosting her agility by 35%. Mijika vents, saying she's sick and tired of always being the one getting saved on missions. Seeing how determined she is, the kid caves and agrees the best play is to go on the offensive and eliminate the threat. With the plan set, Alan looks at his ally, making it clear he trusts him completely to catch this dub. Nearby, Alan and the Elder keep an eye on Nijika faking her role as the sacrifice. Hidden away, they hear something sketchy in the woods and brace for whatever's coming. Suddenly, Domar drops in, screaming from hunger. The cult members use the chaos to step up and hand over the victim as an offering to Lord Domark. Catching the scent of the trapped girl, the beast drools over its meal. Determined to end this nightmare, Alan takes a deep breath. With wild fury, Domark roars, making the ground quake as it charges. Nijika jumps into action with her glowing weapon, dead set on stopping the beast in its tracks. Without a word, Nijika fires a flawless shot. The shot flies straight at the beast. It lands a direct hit but doesn't even leave a scratch on the thing. Furious, the monster roars with glowing red eyes, making it clear it's not letting that slide. Nijika makes a sarcastic comment about the creature's threat level, kind of impressed by how cracked it is. Spotting the opening, the MC triggers his secret skill and summons a literal rain of grenades. Yelling that he's got this, Anihi jumps to the front, ready to blow the beast to pieces. A shower of explosives heads straight for the monster. On impact, Domarg roars in pain as the flames swallow it whole. Hyped up, Aniki uses the chaos to flex his insane power, warning that he's just getting started. Aniki unleashes an absurd attack that makes the battlefield collapse, burying the beast in a fiery blast. They take over everything, but Aniki just stands there, completely unfazed by the absolute destruction he caused. The crew cheers, thinking they finally cleared the mission. But then, something shifts. Domarg is still standing in the smoke with glowing red eyes, proving this fight is far from over. Enraged, the beast unleashes a sinister aura and demands to know what they did to it, ready to wreck everything. The squad panics, watching the monster brush off the attack and heal its wounds right in front of them. He can't believe his eyes. This thing is way more tanky than anyone guessed. Pure despair hits hard, and the group realizes they don't have the stamina to keep this brawl going. Roaring loud, the beast drops a terrifying warning. These humans have zero clue how much trouble they just brought to the city. The elder loses his mind, realizing his life is hanging by a thread. Shaking, he begs Lord Domarg for mercy and tries to throw the immigrants under the bus to save his own skin. Nijika is stunned hearing this clown push the blame on her and beg the beast to take her instead. Disgusted by the cowardice, Aniki absolutely flames the traitor for selling out his friends instead of throwing hands. The beast actually spares the coward for a second, but warns there's no mercy if he messes up again. With a creepy smile, the beast gets right in Nijika's face and says it's gonna eat her insides first, saving the brain for dessert. Nijika freezes in pure terror, feeling the beast's claws touch her neck. It swings a brutal slash that's about to end her right there. Aniki and his little buddy lock up in shock, seeing what just went down. Barely able to process the sight, Nijika stares blankly at the tragic scene unfolding. The MC is covered in blood, pierced straight through by the strike, while Nijika watches in disbelief. Pushing through massive pain, the MC uses his last bit of strength to call out Nijika's name. Even fading fast, he ignores the pain and tries to calm Nijika down with a weak smile so she knows it's okay. Nijika stays frozen in total shock, completely unable to react to the tragedy that just happened right in front of her. Upon realizing what happened, Nijika lets out an agonizing scream over the MC's fate. Silence takes over as his body drops onto the spilled blood, ending his run. Holding his body, the beast looks at Nijika, genuinely confused by the sacrifice he made to keep her safe. One of the goons tries to use the moment to offer our hero's body to the Lord, but Nijika desperately screams for them to let him go. She completely breaks down, screaming Yuma's name, crying in pain because she couldn't do a single thing. Furious, an ally rushes the attacker, swearing to avenge the MC. More grenades get tossed at Domarg, but the boss is just tanking the hits like they're nothing. Alan freezes, realizing the overwhelming power this creature is still hiding. Thirsty for destruction, the beast announces the feast is just starting and is gonna devour every single one of them. Nijika watches paralyzed as the creature's jaws snap shut right by her face. Fearfully, Alan stumbles forward trying to walk. Eaten alive by guilt, he collapses in regret, taking on the heavy blame for this whole disaster. Suddenly, the creature coughs up blood. Nijika looks up totally confused. Swiftly, something snatches her right out of the monster's grip. And this is where it gets good. The MC pops up out of nowhere, saving Nijika with a cracked speed move and completely flipping the fight. He stays chill and checks if Nijika is good after that massive scare. Even dazed, Nijika hears his command to fall back from the chaos immediately. The beast is absolutely furious it got clipped in the face and swears nobody's making it out alive. Out of control, it roars and charges the squad as they try to dash out of the danger zone. The terrified elder locks up in panic, seeing the creature rushing in with zero mercy. It locks onto him, eyes full of pure evil, ready to settle the score. The old man has zero chance to escape and gets instantly swallowed by Domarg. In the middle of a mess, the MC's teammates run up, trying to figure out how he survived that fatal hit. He brings up a strategic trump card, a ring he totally forgot to use. Our boy activates the artifact, wrapping his body in a green protective aura. Magic energy flows through the ring, lighting up the whole area. This accessory drops a supreme healing spell that fully restores a critically injured user, but it's a one-time use per raid. Sprawled on the floor, panting, feeling the insane toll of the heal that drained almost all his stamina, Noticing how he bounced back, he realizes the gear hides a secret he never even expected. A divine figure with golden hair spawns in front of the MC, who smiles and thanks the tutorial goddess for the clutch assist. She kills the Vive and scolds him, asking why he risked his neck like that without thinking about her. Smiling, the MC answers he only protected her because they're teammates, smoothly shutting the topic down. Nijika looks at Yuma, seeing her reflection in his eyes, feeling a mix of worry and relief from what she heard. And Nikki strolls through the forest full of confidence with his little white hat buddy right behind him. Gathered up, the squad checks a map and debates how the target tanked a bombing that should have wiped it out. Even though they didn't finish the quest, they admit that just wounding Domarg is already a massive flex. The little guy panics looking at Domarg's stats, guessing the boss is over level 50, making this straight up suicide. They demand a brand new strat, since the current plans aren't gonna hold the beast back. Nijika stresses out, knowing the sacrifice play is off the table and they are running out of time. Our MC drops a shiny object on the table and challenges the crew, claiming they already have the item to clear the mission. He swears that analyzing this drop is the key to finally pushing forward. Aniki reveals he recorded the fight to study the boss even while thinking he was gonna die, leaving Nijika baffled by the risk he took. Cutting the tension, he demands absolute focus, saying the win is sitting right in front of them. The MC studies the beast's movement, trying to figure out how it healed so fast from the bombs and the boomerang hit. Suspiciously, Aniki squints at the boss's cracked regeneration speed. The squad spots a weird light glowing in the beast's throat every time it tries to heal. He cracks the code. That glow in its throat is the regeneration core keeping the creature alive. To confirm the theory, the kid suggests checking another angle from the fight footage. They check it and see the demonic gargoyle's weak spot pops up in the exact same place every time, proving the theory right. With the weak spot exposed, the crew hypes up, believing they're finally gonna put Domarg in the dirt. Nijika and the MC agree they gotta smash the core before the beast heals up again. Suddenly, a hostile aura makes everything shake, catching the trio off guard. Alan gets terrified, feeling a chill down his spine from that evil energy. A colossal paw crushes the ground, forcing everyone to step back from the impact of the boss dropping in. It's Lord Domarg, spawning in the middle of the street, making it obvious he's totally done with this city. Roaring loud, he warns he's gonna devour everybody with zero mercy. In full panic, Alan yells that the beast is gonna raid the village and eat the NPCs. Our MC draws his glowing sword and, right next to Nijika, preps for instant combat. Focused, they take their stances, knowing they have to break that core no matter what. The duo gets an attack formation, ready for the final clash that's gonna decide everyone's fate. He realizes they need to pry the creature's mouth open to land a clean hit on the weak spot. Domarg threatens to wipe the village off the map because they broke the pact, charging her arrow with pure energy. Nijika gets ready while the MC rushes in to stop the village from getting wrecked. With total determination, Nijika fires her energy shot, completely fearless. Her eyes track the arrow as it cuts through the air at insane speed toward the beast. A rain of energy arrows drops from the sky like a punishment, forcing the monster to back up under the blinding light. Our MC takes advantage of Nijika's opening and gets ready to channel all his energy into the finishing blow. Him and Aniki coordinate the strike, confirming the game plan is going flawlessly. Aniki tanks the beast's fury on the front line, holding back the roar and the strike, trying to crush him. Impressed, Alan praises their flawless teamwork. He thinks about the deep bond the squad built up after grinding so many battles. Energy sparks when Aniki blocks the heavy hit, proving he can tank the damage while the MC looks for the opening. Holding his ground, the veteran is confident his guard experience will hold the line so the others can attack. He smiles, fully locked in. Confident, Alan adjusts his guard, feeling like his technique is about to turn the tide against the beast. Energy blasts cover the zone as the team pushes the monster, who's just trying to crush everyone with brute force. Roaring with pure hate, Domarg promises to eat every single one of them. Out of nowhere, the little traveler pops up in the chaos and hands a magic item to the MC, telling him to pop it right now. A massive object flies straight at the beast. The MC's hands glow as he pops his level 1 skill, throwing out an illusion to mess with the beast. It gets totally confused by a fake image of our guy. Catching on to the trick, the beast lets out a terrifying roar. Our MC takes the cue and signals Nijika to go all out. She pulls the bowstring back and fires a golden flaming arrow. The golden projectile slices the air, lighting up the field as Nijika watches her shot. Stuck in the illusion, the beast doesn't even notice the arrow flying straight at it. The monster reveals the kid actually walked right into a trap, mocking his illusion strat as totally pathetic. Shockingly, Nijika freezes in her tracks. Delmarge stands tall like a brick wall, and the squad realizes the raid just went south real quick. Facing the danger, the MC and Alan realize things are totally out of control and panic sets in. Alan glares at the beast with raw determination, dead set on ruining the boss's plan. He swears he won't let another teammate get eaten. The beast lands a massive hit right on him. Freezing up again, Nijika watches another ally throw himself in front of her to take the hit. The monster sinks his claws into the guy, laughing that he's going to be the first one on the menu. Suddenly, Aniki steps in and blocks the brutal attack with a shield, stopping the creature from landing a bite. Aniki stares down the beast, yelling that he can't hold this block for much longer. Using the window Aniki just opened, the MC jumps in to finish the job. He channels his mana, and the divine dice glows to decide the end of this fight. The system shows the King Dice skill is pure RNG, dropping random effects. It lands on a 5, unleashing a golden aura that straight up doubles the MC's attack power. Locked onto the buffed shot, the kid sees his attack is going to pierce the target with 0 resistance. Aniki screams for the MC to let the attack fly. Unleashing all his power, the kid lights up the zone with a massive green blast. Domar roars, taking the hit straight to the mouth. From the massive impact, Domar hits the floor hard, with blood splashing everywhere. Our MC celebrates feeling super relieved, adjusting his wizard hat seeing the threat is finally gone. Right in time, the system confirms the win and announces the cult's idol has been defeated. The MC levels up and loots a sharp fang from the beast as a trophy. He and his partner celebrate the W, head to finally be out of that crazy dungeon. Alan respects the squad's grind and admits they survived by the skin of their teeth. Chatting with Alan about the village's safety, the MC asks about the injury on his ally's arm. Alan looks at the locket, thinking Domarg's fall was a small price compared to all those lost lives. He grips the locket, dead set on rebuilding the local guard and bringing hope back to everyone. Then he suggests the kid travel to the Eastern Kingdom, revealing he already sent a recommendation letter. Alan says his goodbyes, wishing him luck and reminding the MC to stay safe on his journey. Smiling genuinely, the kid thanks him for the backup. He waves goodbye and watches his ally leave, standing alone on the road. Alan remembers something and points it out, laughing at his own distraction. After all that, the whole squad celebrates clearing the mission. The ally apologizes to Takashiro for being late with the mission report. Cutting into the chat, Nijika focuses on something way more serious while the kid rests. She questions the raid's planning, demanding that everything is absolutely flawless. But she catches a heavy scolding about losing focus, and Takashiro decides to go rogue. Nijika totally freezes hearing that. In Takashiro's hand, the device vibrates with a notification. The deciding moment is here. Takashiro takes control and decides to personally lead the charge into the new continent, making it crystal clear he doesn't trust anyone else with this raid.